Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tammy Tuckey Show. My name is Tammy Tuckey, and it's good to see you. Tonight, we're celebrating 5 years since the release of my first album, You'll Find Me on Main Street, and we have many special guests this evening, including songwriter George Wilkins and singer Sally Stevens, and a giveaway. If you noticed your chat, I actually posted the link right there. But we have a rafflecopter giveaway. So let me show you a couple of these items, and I'm going to show the link up here. We'll have our moderators during the evening, Virmarie and Todd. They will be posting the link as a reminder, and we'll pull the winner at 8:30 and announce the winner at the very end of the show, about 5 minutes to 9 Eastern, of course. So let's look at some of these surprises and gifts that we have in this Disney prize bundle that you could possibly win this evening. So here we go. So first we have a Loungefly backpack that's the Festival of Fools from Hunchback of Notre Dame. This one is really, really cool. Brand new, obviously. And I really love Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's one of my favorite films, Disney films of all time. So we have that. And then we also have a custom-made animated piece that was created by one of the Disney animators at Walt Disney World back in 2019. I thought that this was too interesting of a possession to pass up and add to the list of things we have. We have a box lunch Hunchback of Notre Dame, another type of backpack. This one's really cool because it's Quasimodo and Esmeralda on the front. We have a pillow, the Extract of Llama. If you're an Emperor's New Groove fan, I'm sure you're going to love this pillow. We also have an 8mm reel of Sleeping Beauty's Once Upon a Dream. We have the Sanderson sisters. Everybody's been talking about the new Hocus Pocus 2 trailer. Well, here you can own your very own blanket. This one is from the Spirit of Halloween in collaboration with Disney, and it's very, very soft. We have Debbie Derryberry. She was actually on my show back when we talked about the Carousel of Progress. She's the voice of the daughter, Patricia, and she gave me some of these CDs, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a signed CD by Debbie herself? And then this book, my very own book by Doug Jones. Doug Jones, sorry. And he was one of the mummy. He was the mummy character in Hocus Pocus. So this is a really cool book of him just doing all these different poses as a mime. And he is just a fantastic performer. So you have to have a copy of this. Also, Claudia Christian, who is the voice of Helga Sinclair in Atlantis, The Lost Empire. I have a signed picture for you here. Susan Egan's CD, The Secret of Happiness, with some wonderful tracks and tunes. She was the voice of Megara in Hercules, one of my favorite Disney girls. Oh, I'm jumping ahead here. But these are some of the prizes that you can win tonight. Again, if you want to go ahead and enter the competition, the link is here. And it's also in the chat to, I think, your right. So you can go ahead and click on that link. And all the ways of entering are, this is obviously no cost to you, but there is a way that you can get 5 extra entries if you do donate to my Indiegogo campaign for this evening, which I'll tell you guys a little bit more about. So with this first album that I did, You'll Find Me on Main Street, like one of the most asked questions I get is, when are you going to have a second album? So here's your answer. I'd love to make it happen by April 2023. So I'm asking for your support this evening. If you can go to the Indiegogo website, which is also in the chat. It's actually pinned at the very top of the chat, so you can click. Any donation is welcome. And with this way of doing it with Indiegogo, I can provide you with something in return. So let's say you donate $20. You will be guaranteed a digital copy of the album in April of 2023. That is if we hit our campaign goal of $10,000. Now, we're almost halfway there, and we have until June 10th. But this campaign is an all or nothing. So if we don't hit the 10,000 goal, the album will not be made. So if you can please donate tonight, that would be very much appreciated. I know we have like a good amount of people in the chat. So if we even had 60 people who donated, $50 this evening or $100, we could probably hit that goal. Also, there are a couple of cool additions. Like if you pick the $100 perk, you can get a t-shirt, you can get a physical copy of the album. We're actually going to do a literal CD this time because, again, that was another question that was asked all the time, I want an album for you to physically sign. So I wanted to make that happen, and a digital copy of the album and a poster. And that's just for the $100 perk. If you're looking to go more extravagant and want to be on this show, there's a perk for that as well. And you can be on the Tammy Tuckey show. We'll have an interview and a conversation, and that's another perk. So go ahead and check that out at Indiegogo.com. You can also head to my website, TammyTuckey.com. And the trailer that you saw at the beginning, and the link is right there as well, too. So if you have any other questions, please put it in the chat and we'll answer along the way. And I know that we have a couple of comments so far because some of you are already adding into the fun here. So let's bring some comments. We got Biff says, hi, Tammy. Hi, Biff. How are you? Rob, we are friends and we haven't met. Of course, I'm friends with everyone and everybody I meet online or in person. So hello. Hi, Scott. I met Scott at RetroMagic finally. How are you, Scott? We met at the RetroMagic show, which we'll talk more about. Justin, hi. Oh, you said hey to Beth. Hey, Beth. Oh, and thank you, Stringer Films, $2. I appreciate it. I appreciate you donating here, but it doesn't count to that Indiegogo. So if you can and you haven't already, go to Indiegogo and donate there because that's where it counts the most. So... And there is my dad. Hi, Dad. He's glad to have everybody on board. It's good to see you. And who else? Oh, Scott. Hi, Scott. How are you? And Caleb, thank you. Happy 5 years. I know. Isn't it weird? It's been that long. Okay, we're at 6:05, and we have two special guests first coming on the show. So let's kind of jump into it. And again, if you have any questions throughout the broadcast, I can bring them up on the screen. So I hope you'll be willing to add some questions of your own if you'd like. I have plenty, but it's nice to have you guys included on the fun. And hey, Jerry! There's Jerry, the director of Back to Neverland and Cinemagique. Jerry, I have my Cinemagique ticket. I love it. I had to put it like somewhere on display back here on my crazy display. So, and thank you for donating. Jerry donated. Isn't that nice? Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, and thank you, Stringer Films. You pledged. Thank you so much for pledging. I appreciate it. I know Jerry has his own ticket. He wrote, oh my God, of course I have to put it on display. Now we need to get like a whole big poster, which we do have. I have that in the other room. So anyways, let's get back to the show. So I'm really excited to introduce first the singer of the Two Brothers song in the 1982 version of The American Adventure and of the remake and the duet version that I did on my album You'll Find Me on Main Street, Olmo.
Hey, Tammy. How are you?
Hey, doing good. How you feeling today?
Good. Have my cat right here next to me.
Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. And the Stitch is right there. It's 20 years since Stitch, the movie, came out. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yeah.
It's good to see you. And then we have the man who created the beautiful instrumentals that we heard throughout the entire album, and that is Mr. James Clark.
Hi there, Tammy. Hi there, Ali. Good to see you.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you.
And this is your first, both of you, this is your first time introducing both of you in person because kind of we were all working at different times. Ali was recording in California. James is making the music in England. It's like we're all over the place. I'm on the East Coast, so. But we made it work.
The magic of technology.
I know,
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, right?
Yes.
Well, I thought we'd start out like listening to some of the tracks that James created and also some of the things that we got to do too, Ali. So the first one I wanted to play, this is like a little piece from the Someone Like Me track. This was from Doug Live. So let's give it a little listen here. If it will play. Let me try it again. Let's see. And that one is so pretty. I loved the way, James, how did you do that? How did you make it sound like it was a music box for that track?
I remember when we did that track, I had originally done it on piano, and you said, no, I want a music box, and I don't have a music box. So I went out and bought a music box, and then I sampled the music box, and then I played it back using my synths to kind of get it sounding alongside the piano. So it's actually a real music box.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a glutton for punishment. If Tammy asked me to do something, I'd go out and do it. So it's good.
Poor James has to put up with me, and I'm so glad you did it though. It sounds it gives it its own little beautiful taste to the beginning and the end of the song. So that was the end of the song, but I really wanted to feature that because it's just so beautiful to hear. And then I have Allie. Let me see. I have a picture of us and of you. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Here we go. So Allie, this is a picture on the left. I think MJ, who recorded you performing Two Brothers on the album. Right. This was when you recorded that day, right?
Yes.
How long did it take?
I don't know. I don't think it took too long. We had already set out the roadmap. So, but it was cool to get to play, a couple of guitars and come up with you asked me to write an instrumental, which was never part of the song. And so it was a lot of fun to come up with a solo little guitar thing, which I'd never really done for that. So that was very cool to get to do.
It was beautiful. And the thing about recording separately, so that was the only downside is you really want to be in the studio with somebody, but that doesn't always happen. So I think I recorded my tracks first, right? And then you were able to hear me.
No, I laid the guitar tracks down at MJ's with my vocal, and then I sent them to you, and then you added the vocal because otherwise you wouldn't have had anything to sing to.
Gosh, I thought I had sent you something. So poor you didn't know how it was going to turn out with me singing with you. I don't know how I forgot about that, but yeah, that.
Yeah. We just had the roadmap on paper, and obviously the key and everything, and then James sweetened it up at the very end.
It sounded beautiful, and I think and just to kind of put things in perspective, we were working on this, all of us, from 2017 to the very end of 2017, beginning of 2018. Yeah. And so we're trying to make sure everything's covered, and it was just so interesting to hear it all come together. And then the picture on the right is when Allie and I first really met in person. Because
that's right.
We went to RetroMagic. We were invited to sing the song there.
We were at the what hotel were we at where we had lunch?
Grand Floridian. We went to the
Grand Floridian, right?
And that was a good meal. I had steak and eggs. It was delicious. So here's a little clip. Here's a little story. Allie and I were at this after party. Well, it was before the RetroMagic after party at EPCOT. And Allie, did you ever see the American Adventure before?
Me?
Yeah, ever in person?
Or yes, I had seen it. Yes.
Okay, but it had been a while. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, at least 20 years.
So we had a great cast member who brought us over. We saw the show. I told the cast members there all about you, and it was the last show of the evening. So they let us stay, and they let us do this inside the lobby. Take 2, Allie singing here in the American Adventure Pavilion. Okay.
Two brothers on their way. Two brothers on their way. Two brothers on their way. One more blue and one more gray. One more blue and one more gray. As they marched along the way, the fife and drum began to play all on the beautiful morning. A cannonball don't pay no mind if you're gentle or if you're kind. It don't think of the folks behind. All on a beautiful morning. All on a beautiful morning. All on a beautiful morning.
That was so much fun.
That was, the acoustics in there are incredible.
It sounded amazing in there, but then we, as you heard, the fireworks were happening in the background.
Yeah,
So
what's
it was
so
like, but nobody was in there. It was just the two cast members, Allie and I, and that was just a rare occasion that ever happened. It was just so cool. So I'm so glad we got to do that. That was wonderful to do it in person. So, but like, what was your major reaction to RetroMagic when you got to finally perform it in front of people for the first time?
I had no idea that, the song was so popular. People loved it so much. I had no clue. When I mentioned it to Jane, my friend Jane Jackson, who is the reason why I ended up getting to do that song in the first place, it's like she had no idea. She just couldn't believe it. And it was really something to find that out, discover that it was a very well-loved song.
You had a lot of people coming up to you crying, and I just the wonder on your eyes. You were like, I can't believe this. Like, people, there's a wonderful following, and now your voice. The song is also at Disneyland at Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So
right.
You got two parks, girlfriend. I love it. So we also did another song, and I'm going to bring James back into this because we went a bit of a route with this next song, which was from Tarzan, and we did Strangers Like Me, Phil Collins. And James, I think we were going for like an 80s feel, right?
Oh, we were. I mean, when you asked me to do some Phil Collins, I'm in my element. I love Phil Collins.
Me too.
Yeah, so I've worshipped him for a very long time, from a kid, really. So when that was on the list of songs, I thought, great, let's just go full 80s retro. And I brought out all the old analog synths and did it justice. I think it was great. In fact, that song was interesting because I thought I'd done a good job. And then Tammy took it off my hands and gave it to one of her friends, Mike, who then put more percussion over it and made it even better. So I was really impressed with that track. It was a good fun track to do. But again,
Mike McGee,
one of these weird things, collaborations between the UK and America. I had no idea what it was going to sound like until I heard the mix come back to me. So it was good. It's good stuff.
Well, let's take a listen. Here we go. This is a little.
Come with me now.
Did it play? Let's try it again. No, do it again. There we go.
Come with me now to see my world, where there's beauty beyond your dreams. Can you feel the things I feel right now with you? Take my hand, there's a world I need to know.
Oh, so much fun. That song, and it was funny because I got to record it, and I turned off the lights, and because I really wanted to just hear it, and I heard all these extra harmonies. I was like, maybe we should layer it. So we added the harmonies with it, and woof, that ending is just magnificent with your music. James is unbelievable, and Mike's percussion, it just comes together so well, and I'm like, oh, I can't get enough. I love it so much. So brilliant work. And then we go back to EPCOT, and we have the Sounds of Blackness who join in on the Millennium Celebration song. And I remember you commented you liked something specific about Celebrate the Future Hand in Hand. Do you remember what you said about that?
Are you asking me?
Yes, James.
Oh, I can't remember back to 2017. Tell me what I said. Enlighten me.
You were like, so I gave you the sheet music, and you're like, oh, look, there's all these different instruments of different sounds that I can just layer. And you were like, I had so much fun with this one break, and I wanted to play the break that you were referring to. So here it is with the Sounds of Blackness. Oops.
We'll celebrate the future, hand in hand.
That break.
It's an invitation. Give the inspiration. A dream we all share.
So good.
Nice. Very nice.
So yeah, was it just as fun to do that as it is for us to listen to?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because obviously when it's all together, it sounds great. But to be honest, a lot of music writing, you spend a very large amount of time listening to the same bit over and over and over again. And so
Yeah.
by the time you finish the track, you kind of play it through and think, yeah, I remember that bit. But you don't remember the 12 hours it took to program all the instruments in and find the sounds and do everything. So, it's all a distant memory, really, when you finish a song, because each of these songs takes maybe 2-3 days of work to finish. When you sit down and work full time. And when you're not working, I have a day job, so this is my part-time job. So some of these tracks took a week to do. And by the time you've reached the end of the week, it's a kind of a voyage of discovery and a labor of love to get to the end of it all.
What did you think when you heard Sounds of Blackness added to the mix of your music?
Yeah, that was just stunning. I remember I was very keen to hear that. And I know when you got the audio recorded of the singers and you sent me a kind of a rough cut, I was blown away. It was really, really good. Nice.
Yeah, this sounds awesome.
It's always so satisfying to hear people singing over music. It's always so satisfying, and they did a really great job.
Oh, and a shout out to them because apparently it's their 50th anniversary as a group. Of course, they add on, new members, but Gary Hines, who is down at he's in the first picture on the left-hand side, and he's the far right. That's Gary. And he put this all together. And the reason I reached out to him was because we had interviewed about a short film that he did with Disney called John Henry about the folklore story, which you have to see if you've never heard of it. But their arrangement of that music was amazing. And I thought, what a great combination of James's instrumentals and their vocals. It was like, match made in heaven. So it was like perfect. So I'm so glad, that we kind of got to add them into the mix here. So I wanted to kind of go into, being able to like craft the music itself so Allie, you're a performer, but you also write music, and James, you have to do the same type of thing. So when you're creating a song, do you try to have an idea for it first, or are you sometimes just playing the melodies as you hear them in your head and then kind of linking them to lyrics later on?
You go first, Allie. No, you go first. Ladies first.
Okay, well, it happened. Sometimes it's just a matter of pulling the guitar out and start, doodling around. And then, I get an idea, but sometimes even the lyrics start coming at the same time. That happens quite a bit. Sometimes each time is different, but a lot of times they sort of come together. They sort of magically come together. Or I'll just find a riff, and then I just, something will come that sort of fits what I just was playing. So I feel like when I write that I'm just a channel. Sometimes it just comes through me. It's coming from someplace else up there, and not from me. And it just all of a sudden it's just all there.
Yeah.
So
I envy you. I envy you being a guitarist, because I'm a pianist. I can't play guitar very well at all. I sometimes pick one up and make a really bad noise. So I do the same as you. I sit and just noodle on the piano. I just sit and play whatever I like. And I've got one here behind me, and it's connected to a computer. So I'll just play and play and play. And then if something sounded good, I'll hit the button on the computer that records the last 30 minutes of my performance.
Oh, wow.
And then I look back through it and go, what was that? How did that come out of these? How did that sound work? And I go and then clip those little bits and play with them. And it's the same with arranging music. I tend to arrange more than I write. I've really lost the kind of the time to write my own music. But when I'm arranging other people's work, I do the same. I just sit on the piano, play the same thing over and over again until something happens. And as you said, Ali, something just clicks and it just sounds great, and the harmonies work, and the counter harmonies and melodies work, and you just stick with it and hope you can remember what you did the next day.
Right. It's nice to have a little recorder on my iPhone now. It's like, oh, that was a cool idea. I won't remember it, 10 minutes from now, but I just turned the recorder on.
I do the same thing with a voice memo. If I hear something in my head, I'm like, oh, I want to, jot it, at least sing it out, because I don't know how to play notes. I don't know how to play anything. I can just hear it in my head, and I don't know how to write it. So I leave James for the hard work. Sometimes if I can't find sheet music, poor James is like trying to figure
what is in her head. What was she hearing?
But yeah, I'm really, hopefully if we can get this album off the floor, off the ground, Maybe we'll have. Obviously, I would love to have James back, and James has said, let's do it. And Allie, you know what I mean? Like I have a song in mind, possibly to pitch to you if you want to join in on another song. But Disney, I cannot. I have to approve of all the songs with Disney first before I can do anything. So I have sent that list off to them, and instead of just doing 7 songs, we're going to extend it to 10 songs, and one will be an original song that I will write. And I'm kind of really excited to see how people, receive this. So again, you see the link scrolling on the bottom to support my Indiegogo campaign. We're trying to get to a specific goal by July 10th. So please make sure that you go ahead, and any little bit counts. So thank you in advance for those who have been donating and commenting along too. Kevin had a question. He said, Allie, in the original Two Brothers, is that you singing the harmony as well as the melody? I so look forward to the song every time I visit the American Adventure.
Yes. I'm singing the harmony, and it was just one of those magical, incredible recording sessions. First of all, the fact that I was there with Buddy Baker, and he just sort of gave me free reign. And so I laid down the first track, guitar, and I said, well, can I do this other harmony guitar that's in a higher range or whatever? Sure, do whatever. So I did the vocal then to the guitar, and then I said, well, can I do a harmony? He said, sure, do whatever. So it was yeah. I got to do two tracks of guitar and 2 tracks of vocal, and that was a lot of fun. It was just they just let me do whatever I wanted.
So almost like a one-take wonder, it sounds like to me, because you always nail it anyways.
Yeah, it wasn't like a lot of takes. I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember that part, but I think I went in prepared because I had already figured. It wasn't like, oh, let me see if I can do a harmony. I had already come up with one before I went into the studio. And,
and we found out it wasn't a Disney song. So when you're doing the royalty payments, which I have to actually do tomorrow for Two Brothers, because it's not Disney. But we found that there was a second verse that was not,
a third verse.
Third verse. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was not included in the original version. So we were like, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I think it was like, it adds another layer to it. We were kind of going back and forth on the harmonies and who was doing the main medley and the harmonies. And I think it worked out very, very well. And it just sounds so eerily spectacular. And I hear that all the time. It's probably one of the most popular tracks next to James's most notable Tomorrow's Child and New Horizons.
Which I had to learn for you. Tomorrow's Child.
We sang that one too at RetroMagic, and that was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was challenging.
That one is definitely. And we lowered the key for the performance.
We did.
Oh my God, yes.
I said to Allie, I said, "Can we lower the key? Is that cheating?" She's like, "No."
Lower that thing.
Lower. I know. I was like, "Whoa!" So when I was performing it, I was so I remember I was so nervous that day because I was like, "Oh God, these high notes are going to kill me." But I did it, and I was like, "I did it. Okay, there we go." And it was. And those 2 songs are now on Spotify lists. So I get notifications from Spotify about how many listens. So you guys are listening to a lot. But, somebody had another. Oh, wait. Jerry says, tell us the new Allie, Tammy, and James song. Well, we got to make it first. We got to get this album off the ground and get this Indiegogo campaign going. And so if you just started tuning in now, at the top of the chat, there is a pinned pinned comment with the link to Indiegogo if you'd like to go ahead and donate and make this album happen, because it would be great to work with both of these wonderful people again. And James, your website is sound-board.org. Right?
.com.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and even if you want to work with James on a project, his work is spectacular. You can't go wrong there at all.
It's amazing. James, do you do everything on keyboard? Do you ever use any live instruments, or is it all pretty much keyboard?
It's a bit of everything, actually, Ali. I mean, I do most of my primary work either here or in London, and I mostly keyboards with sample libraries and things like that. But I mean, I'm a classically trained musician. I still like playing real instruments. I play percussion and flute and a few other instruments myself. So I do like to use live instruments where I can. But the world's changed a bit, and we can produce so much more now digitally without the need for having to borrow friends. But I do like
it's more
working with
authentic
others.
sounding too.
Yeah, I do like working with others. So where I can, I'll get into a studio and do it properly. And I've worked with string quartets in the last couple of years to try and get the authentic sound, and it makes a huge difference getting live musicians. But sometimes it's just not possible. So you do what you can do.
Yeah.
But as you say, you can get away. You can make things sound incredibly good, and in fact, you can make things sound completely new by using these digital instruments and sampled instruments. So you don't have to pretend to be a guitar. You can actually just be something new, something exciting.
And you always have like the latest and greatest with the new additions. I loved it when you had shared with me like that harmonizer.
It
adds all
I'm
these
addicted.
harmonies.
I'm addicted to technology.
And you're always having to upgrade then.
I'm always having to upgrade. Every 6
Yes.
months, you get the checkbook out and start paying for more stuff. But it's I've been working with digital music. I'm 47 now, and I've been working digital music for 40 years. So I played my first ever synthesizer when I was 7 years old, and I've been playing ever since. And I'm just fascinated by anything that makes a sound. So the fact that I can get it all in a computer behind me on a shelf is just incredible now.
Yes.
It saves a lot of space.
It's magical when you hear it. And Jerry added, the team must stay together. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. But the team is gonna not break up. We're just gonna disperse right now. It was great having both of you on. Poor James, it's like 11 o'clock at night over there where you are. So thank you for joining. And Allie needs to get to lunch. So I love you guys so much. Thank you, and thank you for making You'll Find Me on Main Street possible. It wouldn't have been the same without either of you. So thank you very, very much.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you, and thank you. Nice to meet you, James.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Ali. I hope we meet again in a future album. So
I do.
Good luck, and just click on the link and send some money over. It'll be great to do this album. It'll be great to do it.
We're gonna make some magic, folks. So, and I'm gonna magically remove you. So, bye, guys. I love you.
Bye.
See ya. Oh gosh, I love them all. Look at them. Look at them. So it's really great to see everybody. So now we're going to move on to the Country Bears part of the fun of the evening. So I have a couple of people who are joining us this evening. So let us bring them on the screen. Let's first bring one of our lead dancers, Chris Higgins. Chris.
Hey, Tammy, how are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you, bud? What's up?
Not much. We're hanging in there, enjoying the start to the 4th of July weekend, so can't complain.
Ooh, it's been hot, man. It's been so hot. I'm ready for that pool.
Yeah, I know.
And let's bring on your partner, your dancing partner, my sister, Tammy Tuckey. Terry, can you hear us?
Hey, Terry.
You're muted.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Hello, everyone.
There we go. We can hear you now. You're just delayed a little.
Good, and yourself?
Good. Yep, everything's going well.
And of course, we have another dancing partner on the team, Ella.
Hello. Oh,
Hi, girl.
How do I adjust my lighting here? Hi.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I love your Toy Story shirt.
Yeah, I had to. It's the closest thing I have to something cowboy-y. I was like, I gotta have something on theme. Oh, hi.
I don't. Did you guys bring? Did I give you your cowboy hats? I'm trying to remember. I know I gave my dad his.
All I remember bringing is like the boots and the jeans and maybe the shirt. I don't remember bringing a hat.
I think you gave us the hats.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to remember because
because you color coordinated them, right, with the partners. It must have been.
Yes. Yes, we all had colors.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ours were yellow.
So we were all the dancers, and Isaiah and Gabriella, they couldn't be here this evening. They say hi. And we had our wonderful background team, our background dancers, and one of them is here this evening, and that is Mr. Todd Tuckey.
That's me.
Hello, my dad. Hey, Dad.
Live and in color.
Yes, finally, right?
Finally.
So it looks like it might just be the few of us. We might have some people tag on a little bit later. But I thought it would be fun to kind of at least watch a clip of what we did. Not the whole entire
As long as I'm
performance.
highlighted in most of it.
As well, you are highlighted in a lot of it. Although, should we watch the whole thing? Do you think we should watch the whole thing? Because it's
Was it
been
like
a while.
3 minutes?
Yeah, it's
why
about
not?
3 minutes, and it's been a
Why
long
not?
time.
Sure.
We got
Okay.
time.
Here we go. Let's go ahead and let me bring it up here, and we'll watch it right now. Here we go.
Okay. I love that.
All right, 1, 2, 3. If you've just been wishing about going fishing and you're still on the shore, grab your camping gear and meet us right here. We got all kinds of fun in store. It's time for a vacation, for some rest and relaxation. Forget your cares and join us bears in the great outdoors. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to ease your soul. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to keep you from growing old. If your mind's been easy and you're feeling lazy and down on all fours, then join us bears and suck up summer in the great outdoors.
That was Maggie.
Us bears, we do love nature and tramping through the woods. Us bears, we do love fishing every hour if we could. Us bears, we do love singing in country harmony. And if you won't all join us, we'll chase you up a tree.
Here we go.
Us bears. Us bears. Us bears. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to ease your soul. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to keep you from growing old. If your mind's been easy and feeling lazy and down on all fours, then join us bears and suck up some air in the great outdoors. Us bears, we do love nature and tramping through the woods. Us bears, we do love fishing every hour if we could. Us bears, we do love singing in country harmony.
Hold it.
And if you won't all join us, we'll chase you up a tree. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to ease your soul. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to keep you from growing old. If your mind's too hazy and you're feeling lazy and down on all fours, then join us bears and suck up some air in the great outdoors. Join us bears and suck up some air in the
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
I remember 80% of that choreography now to this day, probably. Where did Terry go?
Terry, her phone, she had to restart it. It wasn't letting her watch the video, so she's
Oh,
she's
no.
coming back.
Oh, no.
She'll be back.
What a
Gotcha,
mess.
gotcha.
But do you guys remember when I reached out originally? It was like, hey, I have this song and I want to film it, but I also want to record it on the
Yeah.
same day.
Yeah.
And what did you guys think when I first was like, hey, you want to do it?
I mean, it's it was a good song. It was a nice, fun Disney thing. I was in school in New York, and so when you sent me it on Google Drive or whatever, I just listened to it like every time I was walking into class or something. Just to get it drilled in my brain, just so I don't have to worry too much about memorizing the song itself. The dance that would come later, but
Yes.
the singing part, I got that. Yeah.
Did it take 3 hours or 5 hours? I was trying to remember.
I think we had only 2 dance rehearsals, I think. Right?
That sounds about right.
And
Well, we
they
rehearsed
were long.
Right, but
Yeah.
we rehearsed it elsewhere. But when we actually rented the studio, Was it 3-hour rental or 5? I don't remember.
I think it was 3, and I think we recorded our audio first, right? We were, and then he moved it all out of the way so we could dance because we were recording in the same space.
I remember that. Yes, that's true.
There she is. Hey, Tara. Can you hear us now?
Mr. Phone is restarted.
There she goes.
Right.
But yeah, we went to Forge Recording, and they were really great. Brendan, who was recording us and mixed all of your beautiful voices together for the album, he's going to, hopefully on this new album I'm creating, he and I are just going to work on the recording and the mixing together. He's also a musician, so he helped me with some other projects I did and the harmonies and stuff. So he was there that entire time. The poor man was just putting on the repeat of the dance for us to do. But it worked out. I think didn't we record? I remember it was freezing out. Do you remember that?
Yes, it was cold.
Yeah. That was like January, I want to say, when we did this.
No snow, but it was cold.
It was cold, but it was so cold, right? To the point that when we finished like rehearsing, or we did the dance, after 3 times, we all ran outside because we were sweating.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And we're like, ah. And then I think I brought like drinks, like Sprites or something, so we could like chug them. And then we could run back to do it again. I think we did it 10 times, right?
It was something like that. I remember just thinking like we did the recording, and then I thought maybe that there was a separate room or something like that where we were actually going to do the dance. But then when we were all setting up in that little like sound booth, I remember thinking, how are we going to pull this off? How are we going to get the space to do it? But it worked out. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, because originally we had more people involved, and this is obviously pre-COVID. As you can see, all of us are scrunched into this recording studio, which is actually pretty big. It's just the dancing we needed space for. You're right, but we had more people, and then we just had, it was like the few of us there, which was great, and we had a wonderful time. Terry went frozen again, so bringing her back in here. But I think it was just really fun to see all you guys come together and really nail that choreography. And it was hard because you could, if you pause the video, sometimes we're like really sweating our heads off.
Yep.
I felt so bad for you, Dad, but you had fun, right, Dad?
Oh yeah, of course. I love dancing around. You know how great a dancer I am.
It was more like the hand shaking and dancing, because I was thinking, I was like, if this hopefully this new album happens, I'm like, I want to do another song where I can have people in it, you know what I mean? And have them and record them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's going to be difficult because of COVID. We want to make sure we have enough space and you know, so, but I have an idea. So
it's cooking.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I'm like really, really excited. I'm hoping it works out. So,
I hope so.
Virmarie just texted me. She and Eddy are going to be joining in a couple seconds here. Oh, there they are. They're coming. They're almost here.
Coming.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
You're late.
Hello.
I'm sorry. I got caught up at work.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we started early. So, how are you guys?
Oh, fine.
Oh, tired. You guys?
We're here.
We just finished watching the video of the whole song. So I don't know how long ago you watched the
great outdoors.
We were discussing how long it took. We practiced and then
Yes, my old dance partner.
yes,
Or partner, I should say. We're
partner.
Well,
How many did we have that night, Tammy?
so we had Maggie, who is the youngest. She couldn't be here this evening, but she says hi. We had Maddie and Melanie and Isaiah. They all say hi too. We had Faith. We had Randy, Terry, Gab, Ella, Chris, you, Eddy, myself, Megan, who was our choreographer, and Virmarie. And I think there's 21 of us.
Somebody from the Storybook Musical Theater.
Yes, I did say Faith. Yes.
Okay, you did. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was there was a lot of going on. So now V was not dancing, she did make sure we all looked great. She did our makeup and hair and made sure we all looked, perfect, ready to go. But V was in the recording booth with Brendan, and who was recording us, and Megan, who was the choreographer. So she was dying. I could see her through the glass. V, tell me what you saw and what it made you feel.
Oh boy, the eye in the sky.
How many repeats, and it's just I know Eddy is
Hurry
very
up and wait.
energetic, so whenever he goes at it, like when you tell him to go yeehaw, you can see him go ah!
Yeah, take after take. We did a lot of takes because there were
Eddy
two
went
cameras.
for it.
It was chaotic, but it was like a good chaotic.
And you got a lot of good angles on everybody. I like there's a nice variety of shots in the final thing. I think that turned out well. And
I
it was
wanted
totally
to make sure I
worth
got you guys dancing, because
takes.
that
Yes.
was the hardest part. You know what I mean? And there wasn't enough room for Courtney, who filmed, to kind of get like a full body shot of all of us, because she was up against the glass trying to get those
Right.
shots.
Right.
So it was difficult, but she
Because some
made
of the
it happen.
moves we were like all in a row, like basically like shoulder to shoulder, right? You can't. There was no way to get all of that in a shot.
Because there was
with how
another
small that room
piano in the
was.
corner.
Yeah.
But you guys
Well,
did it, so.
And we had
Yeah,
two
that we
last
did.
takes, and I just remember I think I said something along the lines of, you got to go for it. You got to go for it, because this is the last. And we were all sweating. I'm like, we're going to get some more, more Sprite, and we'll run outside and get cold again. And all I remember is we're recording it, and there's a shot that you could see of me going, because Eddy is right next to me. Eddy right there. Say, hey, Eddy.
Hey.
And Eddy is just singing so loudly, and we were loving it because it was so much fun, because Eddy was like, I'm really into it. We're going to sing it loud and proud. And we were just laughing through the whole thing, but having so much fun. And those were like the best takes, to be quite honest. So it was all thanks to Eddy.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All thanks to you, Eddy, to making us look better.
And it's I think the thing that, I was forgetting until we saw that video again was just how fast the song is. So you really needed that energy to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when you're at your last recording, we've done it, so many times, you're like, all right, just one more time, try to get through. And, but it was worth it. And to see it all come together, it was very, very cool.
And rehearsing, you never got a sense of how fast it was, because you were doing the moves over and over again. You were breaking it down to make sure you got it. And so in my mind, it was like really slow, but it put it all together. It's like, oh yeah, that is fast.
Remember something. Somebody has to remember something all the time when it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddy, you drove to get to that one rehearsal too.
All by myself.
He drove 2.5 hours and then 2.5 hours back. I was like, Eddy, I felt so bad, but he wanted to be there, so he got it down. So that's the dedication we had with this whole group, and it was so cool. So when we had the cast album party, what did you guys think when you finally saw yourselves up on the big screen when we showed the video? Silence. Dumbfounded.
I didn't
You're
realize
muted, Todd.
The word is
What was the
dumbstruck.
time Todd messed up and I couldn't get over it? It was so fun. Oh,
I never mess up. You're awful to me.
you're the
His hat
best.
fell off?
Oh yeah.
Did his hat fall off? What was it?
No,
Yeah.
no,
5
he went
years
to the
ago.
wrong direction.
Oh yes, there's a lot of left and right-ing going on in the.
It was
in the
my
band.
left.
Yes, exactly.
We're trying to make it even, and poor Dad's on my left, and then Eddy's on my right. So Eddy's going the right way, and Dad's going the not right.
I thought
way.
it fit fine.
Oh, and then the throwing off the hats at the end was a
Yeah.
whole ordeal.
my
I remember
God.
That was fun.
Oh, hey, a friend of mine says, can stick around. I hit the like button and I'll watch this later. Good luck with the album. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. And some people have been asking about the Oh my gosh, the giveaway. So here's the link for the giveaway, and Todd just posted the link. So if you'd like to get that opportunity to win a special giveaway, and you can have 5 extra entries if you donate to the Indiegogo campaign with the link at the scroll, and you provide just your name so I can double check, and we're all set. So, there is the raffle copter link to go ahead and enter the competition. So best of luck.
Wow.
Now, I have something cool to show you guys. It's actually right behind me.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness. The famous boot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's the boot.
And that was one of the ones you actually wore?
Yes.
Wow.
I only wore the boots once. There's Eddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, different colors.
I mean, they kind of,
Here you
forget what
guys
the whole,
are.
I think I ended up
It's-
with.
Of
just
course,
the-
Terry has right in the stinking middle.
I know. It was so cool that you guys saw. So he's had 2 of them, and Terry has one, and I have the other.
Oh, that's right. See, because I was thinking about it. I was like, didn't I remember doing?
Yeah,
doing
we
that multiple
and it was at the
times.
very end. I was like, everybody, please sign these, because I took them off and I put on my other
Yeah.
shoes because it was like really uncomfortable because it was the first time I wore the
Mhm.
shoes.
Yeah,
So, but it worked.
first time you're wearing them to dance, that's not going to be a comfortable experience. But
Yeah,
you did
but
it.
look at this cute little photo of us.
Aw, shucks.
Wow.
Aren't we adorable?
I'm
We're a
embarrassed.
good group.
So yeah, Terry and Chris were red team, Isaiah and myself were blue team, and Gabrielle and Ella were yellow team. So
Yeah.
and then everybody else had
like-
different colors. It worked,
Got
like you guys worked so well.
The outfits all came together really well. I was impressed at that.
A
Yeah.
kaleidoscope of color.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of
That's what
course,
the
your
country
well,
bears is.
you had your necklace though too, right? That was kind of the centerpiece of the whole thing.
Yes, I still have it. I had 2 of them, and I gave one to George Wilkins, who wrote the song. He will be on later. I gave it to his wife when I met her in April. So
Awesome.
she has her own Great Outdoors necklace. So, but I have the other one. So in case y'all need to borrow it at some point, you are all welcome to borrow it whenever you want.
What's interesting when you said George Wilkins, George wrote Tammy a 3rd verse for the song,
Yes.
but Disney wouldn't let us perform it.
Wow.
So we may have had a whole nother verse to dance to.
Yes,
another
that's why we
45
repeated
seconds.
it. That's why we repeated the one verse, because there's only one verse and that's it.
Okay, so the song would have been the same length, but we would have just changed the words. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah. 'Cause
it would have.
Yeah. In most recordings, it's just the verse and then the chorus. And then
That would
it's
have been
done.
neat, though. I would.
Well, I did get to perform the entire version
That's
of
great.
the song with the extra verse just recently when I was at the expo. If you guys want to hear it, I have it right here. Let me
Yeah,
let me
that'd
pull
be
it up.
great.
If your life is boring and you're still ignoring the call of the wild, a walk in the woods will do you some good. It might even make you smile. It's time for recreation, for some rehabilitation. So join us, bears, and suck up some air in the great outdoors. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to ease your soul. Ain't nothing like the great outdoors to keep you from growing old. If your mind's been hazy, you're feeling lazy, and you're down on all fours, then join us, bears, and suck some air in the great outdoors. If y'all been looking at what we got cooking and you wanna join the fun, I'll tell you what, get off your butt. There's fun here for everyone. There's fishing on the river and hiking in the woods. Come on, we'll have a ball in our bear band neighborhood.
That was
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot to memorize. Oh my gosh, I'm glad we didn't have to.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and that's why I had
There's
my
the same amount of
lyrics
dancing,
there.
but yeah.
And that was George off to my left, who will be joining us later this evening. That was my first time meeting him. So it was such a hoot because I mentioned that I said, and Jerry was there too. Hey, Jerry. Jerry's in the chat. Bravo, he says.
Hey, Jerry.
There's the master. That's Jerry Reese, the master.
Yeah. And so what happened was I just said Disney said we couldn't do the verse, and I said, but today I'm doing it for you. And everybody was like, yay! So it worked out really well. It was really fun. So I wish you guys could have been there though, because it would have been really fun to have you in person do it with me one of these days, maybe, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, let's play a game because I love games. So we're gonna play.
I love games.
Do you guys love games too?
You know this. You know this.
Let me get my paper. Good.
Is this gonna play? I don't even know.
Got my pen and paper here.
It's not playing. My music. Can you guys hear the match game music?
I cannot hear the match game. How about you?
Shucks.
You could always hum it.
The match game. There we go. There's our match game music. So this evening what we're gonna do, we're gonna play a game. So basically I have some lines and quotes and pieces from the Country Bear Jamboree show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the line and I'm going to insert a blank into the verse. So you guys, and in the chat, you can join along and have fun and put your own guess if you can. But what the cast is going to do is they're going to write down what they think is the word. And then we're going to display it on the screen. Okay. So we have about 10 of these. So we're going to see if who matches, and you can go silly if you want to. It doesn't need to be accurate. We're having fun. So
I'm going to give it my best shot. I don't think I'm going to know. We'll try.
It's okay. These are mostly rhyme ones. So hopefully, we'll figure it out. So
that helps.
So the first one is by Henry the Bear, who hosts the show. He says, "So clap your hands and stop your feet and try to keep right with them. One sure thing the bear band's got is real old country blank. So clap your hands and stomp your feet and try to keep right with them. One sure thing the bear band's got is real old country blank." Okay, write your answers down. And when you're ready, go ahead and show them on the screen.
Don't know how to spell
where
it.
Are we writing them?
I think I got the word.
Oh, we're going to hold it up.
Oh, yep, you're going to hold up your answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready? Go ahead.
I say dimwits.
Dimwits.
Good old country dimwits.
We got somebody who says swing.
Fun. I say beat.
Beat. Okay. What do we got, Ella?
I don't know how to spell it. I'm going to say rhythm. I don't know if that's the right spelling of rhythm.
V, what do you got? She's thinking. She's like, I don't know. Guys, you're right. It is rhythm. Good job to Gary.
Thank you for cross-checking my spelling there.
So Gary guessed it, and so did Jerry. Tammy said to have fun.
You can have fun with it.
I just said dimwits for fun.
We know that. We know you're a joker. It's fun.
I do.
Okay, next, number 2.
One this time.
Okay. Next one, number 2, is from Ernest the Bear. If you ain't gonna steal, you better not prowl. If you can't bite, don't blank. If you ain't gonna steal, you better not prowl. If you can't bite, don't blank. Scott says he loves your couch, and he's gonna sit on it next time he visits you.
You're welcome to.
And he liked your answer. What's your answer? We got Chris says growl. V and Eddie say bow. And Todd says prowl. And Ella?
I'm going to say growl as well.
Growl, that's right.
There.
Growl it is. If you can't bite, don't growl. Good job, you guys. You're doing good.
Josh wrote in growl too, I see.
Oh, he did? See, it comes up a little bit slowly for me at my end. So I'm looking where I can. And
oh no, Josh is on the private chat.
Oh, so Josh. Hey, Josh, I'm going to bring you in here. You want to play?
Yeah, let's play.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Okay. By the way, everybody, this is Josh. He is a good friend of mine who gets to perform on the Disney Cruise Lines, and he's a magnificent musician. So, hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh. Good to have you aboard.
Hey. Well, if you have a paper and pen, grab a paper and pen, and we'll keep going. So the next one is number 3 by Wendell. So here it is.
Okay.
Mama, don't whoop little Buford. Mama, don't pound on his head. Mama, don't whoop little Buford. I think you should blank him instead. I think you should blank him instead. Go ahead, hold up your answers. We got kill from Todd, shoot by Josh, shoot by V, I think. Ella, what do you got?
No clue. I don't know. Hug. Maybe I'm getting off the
That would be
track
nice.
here.
That would be nice.
Chris, what do you think?
Skywarp says hug. And Gary,
I'll go shoot.
Yeah, Todd, I'll bring them up when I
okay,
can.
good.
Okay, you're good. And Chris, what did you have?
I'll go shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm
you're
realizing
right.
I missed the joke of the song, but I was not familiar with the song.
It's okay. You're right. It is shoot. So yeah, I think you should shoot him instead. Good one, you guys.
Yes, folks, we only have high class stuff on this show.
Jerry also put in his word too.
Yes, I saw. Okay, next we have number 4, Trixie. Bright lights in taverns, that's where you'll spend your time, and tears will be the chaser for your blank. Bright lights in taverns, that's where you'll spend your time, and tears will be the chaser for your blank. Oh, we got Todd says wine. So does Josh, Ella,
Lord.
Chris, and Virmarie. Yep, Chris got it, and Virmarie's like, we're gonna go with it. Yes, it is. It's wine. A nice. Yeah, but Skywarp is saying a glass of red wine.
I like the specificity.
Cheers.
Actually, in the show, wasn't it red wine?
It is.
It is.
It is. It is. I don't know how it never spills on her, but it doesn't. So
is that the song where she's
Yeah,
like
I wonder.
suspended on the
Must be
chair?
Disney magic.
No. Yeah. No, this is the big female bear. She's she's sitting on a stool.
Extra
We're coming to Teddy Beara. You're talking
That
about
ain't
Teddy
the only
Beara.
thing that's
He's in a
big
blue
here.
tutu.
Next up, we have the sunbonnets. Number 5. It's the same way everywhere I found. All the guys that turn me on turned me blank.
This one.
It's the same way
actually know.
everywhere I found. All the guys that turn me on turned me blank.
Give me that. I am so confident in this. This
Chris,
is my jam.
Chris says around. Todd says down. Ella says down. Avi says down.
down.
And Josh says down. That's right.
You got down. Good song.
V, how do you know that song so well?
Maybe it was that roomie I had in college. It sings it every single time.
Skywarp got it right.
Yes.
Gary
Yeah,
got
I'll
it
bring
right.
it up on the screen. We don't need to repeat it. I just want to make sure we're keeping time here because we only have another couple minutes.
And I never really heard the full song until like just recently. It's
Really?
It's
It's
very funny.
It's very funny. I always wanted to cover that one. So maybe wink, wink, nod, nod. It may happen for, I don't know, maybe a new album. Curiouser and curiouser. If you want to know more about how that could happen, there's an Indiegogo campaign link at the below. Please feel free to donate whatever you have because that would be great. And I'll break here because we're at number 5. I'll put up the Rafflecopter link. If you would like to enter to win the prize package we have this evening, go ahead and click this handy dandy link. And it's also in the chat below. And you can check that out there. Awesome. Okay, now we're on to number 6. We're at to Teddy Beara, the bear that comes out from the ceiling. So here it is. Well, there he goes. He hardly knows the heart he's blank. Well, there he goes. He hardly knows the heart he's blank. They're thinking. This one's a hard one.
I have no idea.
Song L.
Go ahead, add it. Go ahead. You guys can pull it up to the screen. What do you got? Go ahead. You guys can bring it up. I was
All right, I'm bringing up my guess.
broke.
No
Broke.
idea.
Oh,
What
well,
else
that's
do we?
not right now.
Chris,
I
what
thought
do you
of that,
got?
but it doesn't rhyme. So
Really knows though. I'll
It's
say
stove.
shows.
Stove. That's stove.
Stove? Okay,
stove.
stove. And
Sorry.
Josh says break-in.
I didn't hear correctly.
Chris?
It's stove.
Yeah, I'll say stole.
Stole?
good, yeah.
Okay.
I
And
whipped this
Todd?
guy.
I didn't guess.
Okay, it is breaking. Josh was right. Breaking.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
there he goes. He hardly knows the
What's
heart
the
he's breaking.
stone?
Our chat's doing better than us.
Yes.
Okay, next up, number 7. This is Big Al. There was blank on the saddle. There was blank on the saddle.
Well, that's an easy one.
Well, hey, I gotta get some easy ones there. Poor Chris is behind here.
You're fired, sir. You're fired.
That's a familiar
Okay, it
one.
looks like almost everybody across the board. Blood, yes. There was blood on the saddle.
Blood.
On the saddle.
Yep.
Blood.
Was that cut out of the
I
new
thought it
version?
It's weird. I thought
No,
it
it's
was
still
fun.
there. The song is
I know
still
they
there.
cut it down by another
Oh,
4
so it
minutes
was right.
or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay, number 8. This is Henry and Sammy. Born on the mountaintop in Tennessee, greenest state in the land of the free. Raised in the woods, so he's known every tree. Tamed him a bear when he was only 3. Blankety, blankety, blank, king of the wild frontier.
Oh,
Blankety, blank, blankety, blank, king of the wild frontier.
Can you
on
read
the
that whole
mountaintop
line
in-
again?
Yep. mhm.
Yeah.
Born on the mountaintop in Tennessee, the grandest state in the land of the free. Raised in the woods, so he knew every tree. Tamed a bear when he was only 3. Blankety, blankety, blank.
Yeah, got it.
king of the wild frontier.
And
Yes, Davy
the reason
Crockett.
I'll tell you the reason I know
where
this
are you?
is not because of the Country Bears. It's
Davey.
because it's playing in the background of the screen in Back to the Future when they're walking around the town in the 50s. It's playing like in
really?
a gas station or something. I'm like, that always stuck out to me. So I'm like, oh, that's that song.
Nice. I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to listen to it
Yeah.
next time when I watch Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I think we got it all. Everybody got it, didn't they?
Yeah, everybody
No,
got it
no,
across
not
the
me.
board in the chat. Oh well, yeah, he was gonna write. What were you gonna write instead?
Freedom.
Freedom. Yeah.
I just read freedom.
Number 9. This is all the Bears. We hope that you'll be coming back again. That you'll drop in and see us now and blank. We hope that you'll be coming back again. That you'll drop in and see us now and blank.
Can you hear what he said? Hello?
Yeah.
We
don't
hope
think-
that you'll be
I don't
coming
think
back
this is right.
again.
And
I'm gonna
That
try
you'll drop
it.
in and see us
see
now
us
and
now and then.
then. Good job, you
Oh, it
guys.
is then.
All right, good.
Right.
Very
Yes.
nice. And
Terrific.
finally,
Oh.
number 10. Here we go.
Okay.
There ain't nothing like the blankety blank blank to ease your soul.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
There you
come
go.
on. Come on.
Too
Which one was
easy.
Should we
Oh
all
my
say
God.
it together?
Wait,
That's
I think we
good.
should.
Sure.
We'll say the line together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There ain't
Ain't
nothing
nothing
like
Nothing
Great
like
Great
outdoors.
outdoors.
ease your
Ease
soul.
your soul.
Ain't nothing but a great outdoors.
Good job, you guys. Look at
growing
you.
old.
Where's my hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, where is your
exactly.
cowboy hat? Where did you
Where
put
is
that?
Must have left it in my apartment.
Oh gosh, that was really great, you guys. You did really, really well. I'm sorry my match game music did not play, but I wanted to do something fun because I thought you guys, since it was Country Bears, we had to go silly themed. And good job to the audience. Everybody had really good answers and knew most of it. So awesome work. So when my new album comes out, I do have a song in mind. I was talking a little bit earlier to James and Allie. I do have a song that I would love to have people perform in. So don't worry. I'm going to reach out to you probably because it would be great to kind of reunite everybody who was in this original video from like 5 years ago. It's hard to believe that was 5 years ago. What's happened in between now and then, you guys?
I've gotten fatter.
So much.
Oh.
Don't say that.
Not much.
I have less money.
I have
Well,
more money working at Amazon, but hey, the hard stuff.
Well, yeah, that's awesome though. I'm so glad that you got a cool job though. So, and Ella, can we say the good news that you
Yeah.
continue your animating. Can you tell us
Yeah.
more about the good news that you posted about?
Yeah, right now I'm at, well, not at, virtually at, there's a studio in Brooklyn called Augenblick, and they are animating on a lot of different projects for different clients. And I'm not allowed to say which ones I'm working on yet, but I will soon. And they are exciting ones.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I'm so
That's
excited.
great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I know it's what you've been looking to do, so I'm so glad you found something. And I love your Beetlejuice. I just saw the Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah,
sign in the back.
that's a good Spirit Halloween find there.
Oh, I love their stuff. It's really cool. Have you seen did you go back to see it reopen yet on Broadway? I know you're a huge fan of the musical.
No, really, I want to.
We all should go.
I saw it in 2019. I saw it in 2019. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
What I did though was they had a call for. They have this mural now outside with a bunch of pieces of fan art. I submitted one and it made it on there right on the outside the theater. It's really. I went to see that last time I was in the city, but I didn't have tickets for the show. I didn't see the show. I just went outside to the mural.
Oh my gosh! Did you take a picture of it? I want to see.
I did. I guess I in amongst everything, I must have forgotten to post it, but I should do that.
That's really cool, though. I'm kind of jealous. You're a part of the folklore at Beetlejuice, which is really cool. Yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. Josh, you're still staying on because we got to talk. But I really wanted to thank you guys so much for being a part of the Great Outdoors music video. You all made it so special and fun.
I love that video. It's my fave. It's my absolute
great.
fave.
Oh, thanks, Josh.
And thanks for having us on.
It's
for
like,
this.
Yeah, thank you, Tammy. This is a lot of fun.
It's like if there's any reason why You'll Find Me on Main Street should be performed like live in concert, this is it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like with performers and orchestra, costumes, everything.
You be the conductor though, right, Josh?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I got to take everybody on board with me. We're all going to go on tour. You guys okay with that?
Oh,
absolutely.
Let's do it.
Play major cities coast to coast.
Any reason to travel the U.S.
I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm hopefully going to hit the jackpot when I play. And then when I do, we're going to have a private plane and we're going to go everywhere and get to perform. That would be so cool, actually, to
I want to be put up in a nice hotel.
Yes.
Are we going to have autograph sessions?
Drinks.
But we need to perform on like a Disney World stage. It would be really cool to perform on the Barbie stage at EPCOT. Oh, that would be
a lot of water and no milk.
Yeah. No. There'll be plenty of sprites wherever we go. But thank you guys so much for being a part of the chat this evening. I really appreciate it. I miss all of you. We have to get together at least if any time sooner than later, and then we can all do the dance again.
I'll
think
about that, but who knows? Who knows?
Love you guys so much. I'll see you very soon, okay?
All right, take care.
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Bye, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Farewell. Goodbye. Oh, gosh, it's always good to see bright, smiling faces. And speaking of bright, smiling faces, hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm fine. That's a
No, it's great. I'm so glad you're on the show. I wanted to introduce people to you. Because I texted you. I said, "Hey, can you come on the show?" Because with this new album, not only is James, who we saw at the beginning of the broadcast and talked with him, not only is he doing some of the instrumentals, but Josh is going to be working with me too. Because Josh, I think, didn't you find me through my album? Because I thought I got emails from you about it.
Yes, I did. It was a lot of fun.
And you did you I'm trying to remember, did you ask about a specific song? It was so long ago. I'm trying to remember the email, but was it just about the album in general, or did you have a specific song you liked?
It was the album by itself as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the fact that you were able to cover some of the biggest hits and the forgotten buttes, like say Doug Live.
Oh, yes, Doug. Did you see what I had in the background here?
Yes, I see.
There they are. Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Funny.
Yes, and the poster in the back of you.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, this is my lunchbox. They had them at the commissary at the studios, and the kids would get their meals in the lunchbox, and then you could take it home with you. Yeah.
So that was a souvenir thing, like that, like with the souvenir popcorn bucket that they do now. Yeah.
Yes, but they don't really do it for kids' meals anymore. Like I wish they did, because we took it home and we used it as a crayon box. So we put like our markers and our pens and stuff in it, and it was just really cool to use it. And this one is, I bought a new one because I wanted it on display, because I had written on the other one. So, but yeah, I that's how we met. You emailed me, and I don't want to say what song it is, but you had sent me this beautiful and orchestration for a specific Disney song that actually is on my list of what I want to cover, and I want to use this specific instrumental for it. And I was like, "Who are you, Josh?" Because we had only emailed a couple times. I was like, "Your work is fantastic." So,
Thanks.
What inspired you to be a musician?
Well, seeing a lot of the entertainers on TV when I was a kid. Like I see, my parents used to play a lot of music, and that really enriched my brain growing up. Like everything, like how they always say, like, classical music, when you play it at a young age, makes you grow up smarter.
Yes.
Well, I think that's kind of true, because at a young age I would listen to like jazz, Mozart, Broadway, and
you were
also
drawn to it.
Yeah, and also some of the entertainers that my parents played for me were well versed in those renowned musical traditions. Like I was watching Nick Jr. as a kid, and during the 90s they had people like Fred Penner, who not only wrote his own songs, like he had a lot of old songs in there too, like Jimmy Durante, some Sesame Street in there.
Nice.
And there was another group from Canada. You get Fred Penner was from Canada, and then these other group, Sharon, Lois, and Bram, their musical knowledge is off the charts. They have not just children's songs and games, but they have old jazz tunes, old Broadway, maybe even a Disney tune in there somewhere. Yeah.
Nice.
I've known them to cover Unbirthday Song. They've covered Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, and they've even had, I think, one of the best covers of It's a Small World I think I've ever heard in my life, because the way that, when I found out how Richard and Robert Sherman originally wrote the song, they originally wrote it to be a ballad, and so when they did it on their show and on their album In the Schoolyard, they sang the song closer to a ballad, which is closer to like the Sherman Brothers' original intentions for the song, which is a big plus. And
I like it when people do different takes on it, like, because your work is so similar to theirs, because you really go out there and make it sound fuller, and it sounds similar to what the song was, but it still has its own like taste, its own wine, basically. It's its own winery that you have, you know what I mean? Its own music. So I love that, and I wanted to play because you were so gracious to create some backing tracks for me when I did my concert back in September. And everybody loved them, especially this one. Now, this song, you're not going to hear my voice in it. I just wanted to play your music because it's beautiful.
Okay,
but this is you're welcome. And this is the ending of the song "My World Is Beginning Today" from the Santa Claus is Coming to Town TV film that was made back in the, I think, the 60s. So let's hopefully
like 67. Wait,
I think you're right.
By Rankin and Bass.
Yes. So here's the ending. Hopefully it plays. Here we go. Let's give it a shot. Oh, wait, do it again.
I could just imagine like being at like Radio City Music Hall, like with that like 65-piece orchestra in back of you with me going.
It was beautiful. It was, when I did it at the concert, nobody knew what the song was, and that was probably the song that people came up to me the most and said, "What an amazing instrumental! What an amazing arrangement!" And I've never heard the song before. I loved it. So I would love to record that in the studio too. It's not a Disney song, but that's, something that I would love to cover at some point. Oh, wait. Jerry says, wonderful track, Josh. Great arrangement.
Thanks, Jerry. I just want to say how to Jerry, if you're still watching, how much I love his movie Brave Little Toaster when that came out in like 87 or so. I love the characters. I loved the overall style, and I particularly love the songs in it too.
They're very unique.
Yeah.
They're very unique, and I think a lot of people are talking more about that film again. So, oh look, Jerry says, "Thank you, Josh."
Thanks. Oh, it was 1970 when that movie came out. Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It was like the tail end of the 60s. That counts.
And I heard that in reruns, they would take out that song that Jessica, soon to be Mrs. Claus, they would take out that song because it wasn't the stop motion animation, became this psychedelic animation, beautiful animation. And they were like, what does this have to do with it? But again, it's Jessica's character growth. And I don't know why they would remove the song. It's such a beautiful song and beautifully sung by Robbie Lester, right? That's her name?
Yeah, Robbie Lester, who by the way, would then go on, or apparently was at the time voicing Ava Gabor's singing lines in the Aristocats.
Oh yes, I remember reading that. And then she was doing some of the tapes that they had, or the records of children's books and songs. There's more information about her. She only passed away recently, but a beautiful voice. And I wish they would officially release the song so I can get it on my iPod. But it's so beautiful. I wanted to bring up another part of the album because you're such a fan of nostalgic purposes of different things from Disney. So the one song that I did was Remember the Magic. And you remember what era that was from, right?
Yeah, like 96, when Walt Disney World was turning 25.
Yes. And it's such a beautiful song. And they had like this kind of like slow ballad. And I was like, oh, it would be so cool. A friend of ours, this is Don Lewitzy. He's a church friend of ours. And he was on the original he was part of the orchestra who did the recording, the Philadelphia Orchestra, for the American Adventure. So he was playing the percussion part. And I was like, I would love for you, because he plays guitar. I was like, I would love for you to play the guitar for this album. So this is a picture of him recording his guitar portion for Remember the Magic, which you could see the full music video. I encourage you to check that out. But I had some of the pictures from the music video I thought you guys might like to see, because right before the album came out, we went to Disney World and we took like a ton of these photos. We made copies of them and physically brought them with us. So we printed them out, and we would go to these locations and we would give them to cast members and guests and say, hey, like if it needed all 4 of us, which a lot of them did, would you mind holding the picture and then taking a picture for us? And people were like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool idea. So this is my sister and I in front during the Millennium Celebration, which was so much fun. We loved that. And then this was really cool. This was so cool, because we had just walked in and we were about to have dinner, and we were showing the picture to one of the waitresses, and she's like, you know, that waitress in your picture, she still works here. She's working here tonight. And it was just by fluke, because she doesn't work there full time. She was working at another location. She had picked up a shift that night. So it was just by chance that we were lucky enough to have her be there for this picture. And they put us in the same location.
That is just too amazing.
Isn't that weird?
It's like too amazing for words.
It was crazy. And there's another picture. I didn't add it here, but we were in EPCOT, so we were in front of Interventions, and this was when Interventions closed, but it still had like this stand right outside of it. So we had the picture with the original light bulb when Bill Nye was there. And so there's a person in the picture walking, and they just like are standing like this, walking. And so there were 2 cast members, and I just went up to them and I said, hey, I said, does one of you mind actually being in this photo? And the one guy looked at me and he goes, I remember you. And I said, wait, what? He goes, you came into my store at Studios a while ago and you were afraid of fireworks. So you came into the store when I was supposed to close up, and I left it open so we could talk. And I went, oh my gosh, because I don't like loud noises. And I had gone into the store, and lo and behold, it was the same guy who knew me like 3 years later, the poor man. But he's like, yeah, I want to be in the photo. So he's in that photo in front of Interventions. You have to watch the music video to see it. But it was really cool. Again, another weird happenstance that he would remember me. But
like, yes, I had a moment like that. Like during the Millennium Celebration, it was right around Christmas. And so we were like the first guests into EPCOT, and we got a certificate. I don't know where it is. It's definitely not here because it's at home.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna look and see if I can find it, and I think I'm gonna send it to you. So
that would be great. I would love to see it.
Like what's your magical moment is what the thing said. And so and so we made it Spaceship Earth because we were right there. And it was like, and
that
of
would
course,
be that would be so cool to see.
It's one of my absolute favorite. It was right at the end of 2000.
Okay, so it was right around the Millennium Celebration. I was trying to like think if it was. Remember they did that. They were giving they did random dreams come true, and they had the ears. It was like 2006 or something.
Yeah, it was 2007. Like years after I did. It was like
I thought that might have been what it was.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done. I don't remember that at the Millennium. I just remember the beautiful Tapestry of Nations parade. Did you
love that music? I play that all the time.
So good. And Gavin Greenaway is just brilliant with his music. I'll wink and nudge that maybe something might be on my new album that might be something similar. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But to find out, we do need your help. So if you wouldn't mind donating, if you're watching now, if you go to the Indiegogo website at right to your right at the top of the chat is the Indiegogo website. Go ahead and donate.
I love everything she does. It's like it's an absolute. It's an absolute mitzvah what what you're doing. Like it's a good thing in my language. It's a good thing.
And I hope, and I can't wait that we get to work together. We're going to use that one track that you made, and then we're talking about other songs because we put together a list of who's going to do what. So hoping that, even by the end of the night, if we had, there's a couple of you guys watching, actually a lot more, but even if everybody donated $100, if you donate $100, your perk is you get a poster of the album, you get the physical copy of the album, you get a digital copy of the album, and you also get a digital copy of the original You'll Find Me on Main Street album as well too. So I hope you can help out, and just click the Indiegogo link and you can donate there until July 10th. If we don't hit our goal, unfortunately the project will not move forward. It's an all or nothing campaign. But if it does move forward, we are set to hopefully release the album by April 2023. That's our goal. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can make some magic, just like here, which Jennifer Oakes did a video on YouTube like 10 years ago, and she was answering questions about being a character performer. And I had reached out to her to do an interview. We did an interview. And when I was going through my photo albums, maybe a month later, I was like, that looks like Jennifer. So I texted it to her. I'm like, is this you? And she's like, yes, it's me. So that was my sister and I at Norway, pre-puberty for me. Yeah, that was us at the Norway Pavilion. And then we got to meet Jennifer at EPCOT one of the days before we headed home on a trip. So it was really cool to see her.
There she is at the International Gateway.
That's right. That's where we met her, because they were going in, but we were leaving to go home. So, but it was such a joy to see her and see her again. It was just really crazy to that everything would. It's just wonderful as to what my podcast and my album have done for me. And I've been so gracious to everybody who's supported it and listened to it on Spotify, because I get notifications about people listening to it all the time, which is really cool.
Yes.
So
Yes. I particularly love the conversations you have with their wonderful arrangers, like say George Wilkins, who will be seeing soon, and and Richard Bellis and Gordon Goodwin, all these wonderful people. Like they really inspired me and my work as an arranger, and I just thought I might want to let them know that.
Of course. Well, hold on. George is here. George, I'm going to bring you on. So before Josh says goodbye, I've introduced you guys before, but Josh might be doing some music that might be some of your songs on my next album. But I wanted to introduce you guys before he left.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, George. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Especially after like years prior, I have been I met Bellis and Broughton at this ASCAP awards thing.
Oh yeah.
At Jazz at Lincoln Center, and I was chatting it up with them about their work. It was incredible, and Tammy's wonderful podcast brought back those memories, and I just want to say how much your work inspires me in everything that I do.
Thank you. Yeah, Richard.
So thank you so much
Richard
for
and
that.
I go way back.
You guys, and you can listen to my interviews with Richard and George on my podcast. They're on my YouTube page whenever you'd like to. But thank you, Josh, for being on the show tonight. I hope we can definitely work together in the future.
Yes, we really need to, and also like meet face to face, so I can play live, and you can and I'll accompany you.
I'm all for it, man. We got to go on tour, as we said before. The Great Outdoors Group and you. Oh my gosh, it would be magical. And George will be our manager, right, George?
Manage. That I don't do well.
Well, we'll see you later, Josh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Have a great night.
I'll see you soon. Oh, George.
Hello, Tammy.
Hey. And let me bring into the stream our other buddy from RetroMagic. We're having a RetroMagic reunion tonight. It's Hal.
Hey, George. Hi, Tammy.
Hey. Yay! Look at it. Oh, we're all together again. We are all together. Isn't this nice? It's been a while.
Actually write Hal a thank you email.
Oh, you
But I
did?
never did. So thank you.
I accepted. Actually, we're the ones that need to be writing you the thank you
No,
letters,
no.
not the other way around. It's such a treat to have
A
you
lot
down.
of fun. That was a lot
Thank
of
you.
fun.
Yeah. Everybody in the audience, I think, really loved you guys and just the stories and the music and everything. It was so wonderful, especially with the live component with Jeff Crawford playing. It was that was just really cool moments.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was amazed at what you played when I walked on. That was, and that was that from Land Pavilion?
Yes.
Yeah, the cue music. Yeah.
That's what somebody asked, had a question for you tonight. I think it was Todd. He messaged me. He said, George, they wanted to know your ending music for that. It sounded like it went on longer, like there was supposed to be another scene before it. When they gave you the Living with the Land job,
right,
did they give you visuals, or they just said, hey, we need a track that covers this type of theme and covers this time? Is that all they gave you?
As I remember, that track was the waiting, in queue line track.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they used it to end the show.
Yes.
Or at least the exit track. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Ron Fish helped me on that. He did all the percussion on that. So.
Oh, Ron.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the best. I miss Ron. I just saw him a couple months ago. He's really great too.
He's moving.
Oh, he's moving. Oh, and he didn't give me his address. How dare he? Well, let's take a look at one of the songs that that Jeff and myself got to perform with you right next to me, George, and Hal was moderating. This is at RetroMagic. This is the with the additional lyric for Owa's song from the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. You're messing with me. Oh, if it will play. Here we go.
When you mess with Polynesian, the tiki gods will squeeze ya. Well, you're messing with me, baby. Ain't the thing to do. Well, you're stressing me, baby. You should listen to Zazu. Well, you can't fly away, now you're stuck. I have cursed you for pushing your luck. It won't hurt to yell you are under my spell. Look out, cat, you're a dead duck. You're messing with me, baby. And when I'm through with you, here's a lesson for you, baby. You'll be hot parrot stew. Or how about a nice parrot toast with a nice little side parrot roast? Go to work, tiki torch, find some feathers to scorch on the tail of dear Iago, your host. Aloha!
I couldn't do the laugh like Armelia McQueen, but I tried.
Yeah, I think you should have gotten into all of that.
Oh, I'm not that good. I like, and that's really hard to do. You gotta get a lot of breath.
She was
in there.
amazing, man. She could have gone on for another 20 minutes with that.
Oh, she, an amazing singer.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I found out that she did that voice, I was like, oh, that's so cool. But yeah, it was really cool to now you were there. I think I actually have a picture here. Let me see if I have it here. Here it is. And this is that one that we did show during the live show that we did at RetroMagic, but I'm going to show it here too. You were there in the studio. This is Paul Osterhout on the left. You,
Paul, yeah.
Kevin Rafferty on the right, and then Mr. Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to work with. Only seeing him from television, how loud he was, that was just like kind of his thing. And yet in person, he was like, real mild, sweet guy, man.
And he sang that because I know he can hit the notes, but because of his persona, he doesn't want, like, you don't want to exactly hit the note.
He sang Messin?
No, he sang You've Never Had a Friend Like Me.
Right.
But it was like the Iago version.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that's why you were there, right? Because you were there to hear him record just the song, or?
Oh, I stood next to him when it was, you know, I was the music director.
You're the music. Did you remember meeting Don Rickles and Phil Hartman, or did you not meet them?
I didn't. Don, I didn't meet. I know Don from Las Vegas, but I didn't meet. You mean on Potato Head?
Yeah, Mr. Potato Head. Yeah.
No, I didn't get hired for that.
Okay, I didn't know for sure. That's okay. They did voices for the attraction too. Now, Hal, there's some big news that came out today. So, Hal, do you want to explain what happened with this? There's this big news about the carousel progress. And George, I know you worked on this attraction. So, Hal, can you explain it to George so we can get him in understanding what's going on?
Yeah. So I just to try to make this in a nutshell, no one has really touched it since 1994, except for, you know, maybe fixing some things here. Well, they finally refreshed the clothes of the family in Act 4 to bring them up to today's standards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which they hadn't done in a really long, because, you know, that show opened, oh my gosh, that's 20.
Yeah,
25.
I was at the World's Fair when that was there in 1964.
So they redid it, I think, in 94 and updated it again, and then it's sat, and it's obviously time to do something, because the future that was supposed to be, I think, 2006 or something, when that Act 4 was written, is like, we're well beyond that. And they probably still talk about Laserdisc players and car phones, which is now all old tech. So they updated the clothes, and they made a lot of Disney references in the new clothing that they put in. So,
oh, really?
So the daughter wears a Progress Tech sweatshirt as if she goes to a school in Progress City, and the dad has believe it or not, a Food Rocks reference on his apron. It says "My Food Rocks." So
wait, hold on. Let me get it back up on the screen. There it is. My Food Rocks. So poor Hal was inundated with so many messages because he designs T-shirts. So he designed this one that Patricia is wearing, and it's now live online for anybody who wants to get it.
The Duchess or the.
It says Progress Tech.
Oh, Progress Tech. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I bought a shirt today.
So just for urban planning.
Yes.
I just thought it was so funny. I had to bring it up to you because George was there when they were mixing the music in the attraction, and Paul Osterhout tells that wonderful story. And this is Paul. Paul was Paul on the left-hand side. So he worked on that attraction with George, and Paul tells the story about how his character, which is the son here, doesn't get a single solo in the ending song. Everybody else does, but not Paul. So poor Paul. But he does have his voice in the attraction, which is really cool. So shout out to Paul. But I had to let you, Hal, tell the story because it's just so ridiculous.
Paul worked on Sunny Eclipse too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like they might do some type of something, product for Carousel and Sunny Eclipse. Who knows?
That Sunny Eclipse has a whole fan club. I've got a couple of letters from people that want to know what times he takes his bath. I mean, the really dumb stuff.
Oh my God.
And
but
and from little kids too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so glad. And again, I want to thank Hal and the guys at RetroWDW because you guys brought George and myself and Jerry, who's also in the chat, who says so much character in the song. Thanks, Jerry. You brought us out, and it was a wonderful experience to see George and Jerry get to interact with the fans because George, you had never been to a fan convention before, right?
No.
So, and I'm sure Hal, it was, it's a monster of a project to do, but what was one of your favorite moments from that day?
Well, I mean, well, of course. It's a rare opportunity to get to meet people, and in a lot of the events that Disney puts on, you see the same people over and over again, it's wonderful. But I think we really got lucky and be able to bring in people like George and Jerry and Norm Inouye, who designed the EPCOT logo, folks that haven't been out in the public to talk to people and find out first. It's a two-way street. So on the one hand, it's like, it's great for us, the fans, to be able to hear from these luminaries who do the entertainment work that we enjoy so much. Was part of our childhoods or our adulthoods. It's like we have a connection to and remember and cherish. And then on the other hand, it's like, they also get to hear from the fans sometimes where they had no idea, like, oh my gosh, there's this hardcore fandom of people that appreciated this thing that I did 30 years ago that, I put my heart into, but like, then it was time to get on to the next job.
Go ahead. I was going to say the line waiting to get my autograph.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was insane.
Oh my gosh, it was huge. I was
wow.
But you deserve it, George. That's the thing, because
Well, yeah, the thing about doing theme park music, nobody knows who does what,
Right.
So unless it's Bruce Broughton, then he gets credit.
Oh, Bruce.
It was weird for such a long time. It was always that old edict of like, Walt Disney's name is the thing on the top of the marquee, and everybody else is secondary to him, because that's so. You guys were virtual unknowns, except for maybe people in the industry and the real nerds who would go find out what who did what. But a lot of this stuff,
this kind of line. My wife went to Vegas with a company that she worked with, and the boss of that company parked his car in my garage, and I took him to the airport. And when I picked him up from the airport, I'm driving back, and he says to me, so my wife, or your wife, tells me you write songs for Disney. And I said, yeah. He said, did you ever do anything with You've Just Been Wishing About Going Fishing? And I said, I happen to have written that. Yeah. And he said, is it possible I could get a copy of that? And I said, well, no. And I sent him the Japanese version.
They love your music everywhere. Jerry says, how you and the RetroMagic team were wonderful hosts. Hearing directly from the fans was very heartwarming. So.
Oh, thank you, Jerry. That means,
I enjoyed being on a lot.
Yeah, we're a medium to get people together. It's like that's our whole deal.
I first met Hal when he directed my wife to where to park the car.
And it was a fun day. There was a lot going on, but we had a good time, and it was really lovely to spend time with your wife and your daughter, and just to see these fans come up to you and their faces light up was just magical. So really wonderful. And again, you got to check out Hal and the gang on Retro WDW podcast. And they've been so supportive of me and my album in the past, and having me come to these events. So please take a listen to their podcast. You always have something good up your sleeve that's coming out. And you guys just did the Honey, I Shrunk the movie set, which was amazing. I loved that conversation you guys had. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was a again, another great attraction that kids crawled on from age 2 to probably when they retired it, they would have been in their mid-20s or
I know
even older potentially. So
I remember going down that slide, the roll slide. And I miss it all. I'm so sad it's not there, but we have our memories, and that's what we do when you guys put together these events. We come together and we celebrate, and that's the most important thing. So I'm glad you guys are celebrating with me tonight. And Hal has to get going, but I really want to thank you, because Hal was kind of like, you should do the second album. So he was a big advocate. So I really appreciate you supporting me. It means a lot.
Yes, and I just donated to your campaign, so I will tell everyone, please, whatever you can, make a donation for Tammy. She's obviously, her first album was fantastic. We leaned on her a lot to be able to provide entertainment in her shows because A, she's just so darn good. B, it's like she brings such energy and liveliness to everything that we do. And obviously she has been in this business of talking to people and doing interviews and for way longer than we have. It's like, in some ways, it's like we're standing on her shoulders when we get to, do the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been doing this since she was 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 26 now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So her music is fantastic. And the one thing I kept hearing over and over when we were at the show is like, when are you going to do another album? When are you going to do another time? And she's like, well, cost. I'm like, Tammy, go do a Kickstarter. Let's see if you can get the money together, because people really want to hear it. And it does cost. It costs,
yeah,
going into a studio and recording things, and there's people, musicians to be paid, and it's, it costs, as it says on the, about $10,000 to do that. And
this is the physical album, because you convinced me you should do a physical copy of the album, because everybody kept asking me that.
People want, yeah. I mean, I know the world is digital and everybody wants to go to Spotify and Apple, but like people still like having a CD in their hands that they can keep and listen
with
to.
pictures.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I want to make something like a nice flap, for the inside and details, because I remember as a kid, like that was my favorite thing. I'd pull that out, had lyrics and information about the song. So I'd love to do that with it too.
Yeah.
So thanks for donating, Hal. You're the best.
You're out. So go donate to Tammy. That little scrolly thing going on the bottom right now. Follow that and go give her some money so she can get this done.
Yes.
I agree.
And then maybe I can bring something to the next RetroMagic, like a little taste of what's to come for the album.
We're there for it.
Well, have a good night. Give my love to everybody and your wife and your kids. It was good seeing them too.
Thank you. I will.
I'll
All
see
right.
you later.
Good seeing you too, George. Have a great night.
And before we bring on Sally, because Sally's been patiently waiting, I see you in the waiting room, my dear. I just want to bring up a tribute to somebody who, honestly, George and I just found out about his passing, and it was Byron Berline, and he got to do the fiddle section for the great outdoors section, and I only just found out 2 weeks ago when I told George, and we didn't know he had passed this time last year, actually. So go ahead.
I knew Byron when I did the Bear Band Jamboree, the first one. I hired him to play fiddle, but also put the band together for me because I wanted real country players.
Yeah.
And I had Elvis Presley's rhythm section were the guys that did it, and he's one of the sweetest men I've ever met, man. And I'm so glad he did that for you. That
it was great. And I want to play a section right before I do. I found out that his shop, so he had a fiddle shop, it burned to the ground in 2019. So a lot of his instruments were destroyed except one of his favorite mandolins. And then he reopened a new venue across the way, another shop. And a lot of you might have heard him, as George says, he's worked with a lot of people, including the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Elton John, Willie Nelson, John Denver. So just a prominent feature. And thank you, George, for introducing.
He could play anything, man.
Oh my gosh. So this is where I'm going to play this section. This is the dance segment, but listen closely. This is Byron playing the fiddle. We had a little bit too much fun doing that dance, I'll tell you that. So thank you. Byron, I want to dedicate this broadcast to him, and I'm so glad he was a part of that album. It elevated the performance and the music. So I'm so glad he was a part of it. So
yeah,
we'll miss him tons. We'll miss him tons. So I want to bring in who a lot of people have been waiting for. Is finally.
Really?
Yes, they've been waiting for both of you to be reunited. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sally Stevens.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm just fine, thank you. It's so nice to hear you. I wish I could have tuned in earlier. I know I've missed some good stuff today.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good. We're just glad you're here.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
And so for those who do not know, but a lot of people already do, but Sally was the singing voice behind Tomorrow's Child, which was originally the Spaceship Earth theme. I think that ran from 82 to about 93 before the Jeremy Irons update came in. And then there was no song. It was weird because I remember I was not there to hear you in the parks. I wish I had been, but I heard you on my cassette tape. But it was really weird because later on, before Bruce Broughton came in to do, I think, the new score for Spaceship Earth, it had the last segment of your song, not you singing, not the children singing, just the ballad part, and it would play. And I was like, that's weird. Just play the song with them singing.
With Sally?
It was.
Sally,
Yeah, it was the string section at the very end.
Oh.
It was really weird. I don't know what the decision was behind that. It's just weird. So I know a lot of people say that they missed you singing in the parks. Now, we had done an interview before, but let's kind of jump into, when you heard about an audition for this specific song to sing, or did they just say, "Hey, come on in, we want you to sing"?
Well, as I recall, Tammy, I don't think that I might have submitted a demo or something, but I don't think there was an audition.
I don't think so.
Yeah, in those days, you just people kind of knew what this person or that person did, and you got called up.
Sally had one of the great reputations in LA, and I remember Pete Stugard, who was the guy who wrote that tune, being so excited that he was getting Sally Stevens.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. And I came into the studio just as you guys were beginning that, and I had not met Peter at that point. I was a little like, who's writing songs here? Who else is doing that? So that was great. Yeah.
Well, it was sure a special project for me. God, just the first time I visited the park and took the ride and heard it in that setting, it was just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go up to any of the cast members and say, "That's me"?
I don't think I did.
Oh, they would have been like, bow down, bow down. We're not worthy. I remember Catherine Lynch Meyering. She did the song for the Haunted Mansion, Phantom Manor in Disneyland Paris. And she said when she finally got to the ride and got to experience and got off the ride, she told them who she was. And they were all like, it's her. You know what I mean? So I wish it would be so cool to see you get to perform it again, or at least be in a setting just like George was with RetroMagic, where oh my gosh, you could meet people who love you. We all love you.
Well, it's so funny, Tammy. I have only in the last few years discovered the presence of so much stuff on YouTube, and that people will write comments and or I'll reply to something or I'll clarify something, and it's mind-boggling to literally see how many people the things you might have been a part of along the way have touched. It was just really, really neat.
Yeah, well, look how many people that you've put to work and used and helped their careers, man. It's just amazing.
That was the gift of being a contractor, was being able to do that, to know that you were putting something in someone's life.
One of the great vocal contractors, by the way.
Well, Kevin puts it beautifully. He says, Sally, that's a vocal that instantly transports me back to the earliest visits at EPCOT. Thank you.
Oh, how sweet. Well, thank you.
I just am pictured in my car in the back seat in my mom's car, and I just hear your voice. I'm like, I feel like I'm like a little kid again because I just loved hearing it on the cassettes. And then finally the
Aw.
CDs came,
Yeah.
and I could play it on my little CD player. I have my little headphones. I loved it. It was so brilliant. And George, did both of you ever work on a Disney project together, or you worked on something outside of Disney?
Well, I can't verify this, and I don't think Sally can either, but I'm sure that here and there and there and there, she was in different vocal sessions that I did. That,
okay.
You know, she was never my contractor because I had other people, but she was one of the main singers in town. And so I just know she was there. But it's like looking at the string section, you know, it's like,
you're like, there they are.
Who are those people?
Well, I know we worked on things. I've been trying to think specifically what they were, but you know, it's as you might suspect, when you're blessed enough to have spent 50 or 60 years in the music business, it's hard to remember the specific.
I can't imagine how many sessions it could be credited to you.
Well,
It's
and
just
you
gotta be
too,
amazing.
George. I mean, we all of us who work here in freelance in LA,
Yeah.
you know, and for the first 25 years or so that I was in the business, that I was, you know, a very lucky singer and doing a lot of work just as a singer. That was the era where you did not want to bring attention to yourself because you didn't want to push the buttons of the contractor or the person who was in
Yeah,
charge.
right. That's
You just
right.
walk in and read the music and sing as best you can and go home. So I did not, and I don't remember the details. I may have already shared this with you, Tammy. I don't remember, but I have a memoir that's in the process of publication. And when I started to really pull that together, I went back. I've been a journal person all my life, and I've kept every notebook with scribbles in it over the last 50 years. I found my calendar, my date books from 62 and 65, 69, 72 and stuff. And you would not believe how the town was in those days. I mean, today's conversation should be about Disney stuff, but it might be interesting a little bit to share. You've heard of the Wrecking Crew, I suspect, and those were the guys the musicians that just anonymously kind of played on everything. And I was lucky enough to be a part of the Ron Hicklin Singers at that time, and it was kind of the same way with us. We got to work side by side with them. You know, we'd do a jingle at 9 o'clock and a record session at noon and maybe something at 2 and something at 5 or 7. And it went on that way 6 days a week. It was so different from the way the business is today. So during those years when I was just singing, I would go in and do what was needed to be done, and that was it, and move on to the next one. Once you start contracting, then you connect in a deeper way with the composer and with the producers, and in a different way with the singers, because you kind of become, for me, it kind of became mother hen, and you try to look after everybody and make sure they get paid properly and blah blah blah, and you have the right voices with the right voices. And so I have from 85 or so forward, I have some pretty good files, but before that, it's hard to pin details.
This is a session I did with Hank.
Oh gosh, it's not. I'm having a hard time seeing it.
I'm trying to get some light on it.
A swinging performance of music without word. Oh la la.
Yeah, all the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But
that's what Hollywood used to be like in the 60s and the 70s.
A lot of wonderful memories from that time, for those times.
You did a lot for John, right, Williams?
Yeah, I have. I've contracted quite a few, a handful of films for John. The first one I did for him was Amistad. And the reason I had an opportunity to do that was because I had done a film called The Power of One with Hans Zimmer. And it was very, very authentic African music. And So Sandy Day Crescent was kind enough to suggest to John that that he talk with me, and that was a fascinating project. Those were the days when John and I'm assuming others, but might have just been John, was still looking at stuff on a that gadget. Moviola, thank you. Yeah. And so I remember looking at the one cue with him that he was trying to find the right solo voice for. I don't know if you remember the film too clear. It was an incredible film. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it well.
I think it was painful, and that's probably why it wasn't a bigger film for Steven Spielberg. But it was touching and powerful. And there was one scene where one of the young slave women, wrapped in chains from head to toe, and was obviously pregnant, was sitting on the bow of the ship, or the little railing of the ship and stuff, and you could see in her face that she was not on for this ride, and she just in slow motion falls back into the waves with the chains and down into the bottom. And John was trying to find the right solo voice. He'd written a solo cue for that, and I got a lot of demo reels together for him from singers here in town. They were all wonderful, but they just were not quite right. I had to be in meetings in New York, and I thought, well, I'll audition some young ladies at Juilliard. Maybe there's somebody there. Well, it was a big thrill for them to be able to submit something to John Williams, but again, there was nothing that was quite right. And then somebody told me about a new opera director, choral director up in San Francisco, and he referred me to a wonderful young woman who was at the time on the road doing classical concerts. She was in Birmingham, Alabama, and her name was Pamela Dillard. And I called her there, and I could just tell from talking to her that this was the right voice. And she sent a demo, and John loved it, and he ended up writing 2 more solo cues for her. So those are the kind of unusual things that sometimes a contractor gets involved with. But it was great, and you don't get paid for that stuff. You just do it in preparation to what you're going to get paid for. But John was amazing. He's the most gracious, talented guy.
I did the Academy Award with him once, and he was. Yeah. I orchestrated a piece for Connie Stevens from the Academy Award, and he was so nice.
Oh yes. Yeah. What project did you do, George, with him?
I did. Connie sang one of the nominated songs on the Academy Award, probably back in the late 60s or 70s. And John was conducting.
Oh yeah.
And Jerry and Don, both his brothers are really good buddies of mine.
Yes.
But I never got to really know John.
Oh.
Or I sang at his birthday party, which we did with kazoos. We did
the
theme from Jaws on kazoos.
That must have been charming.
How can he sit on a note?
Don,
I have it up on the wall. Huh?
Don traveled with Burt Bacharach during most of the years that I was also playing with him. So we kind of got to know each other from being on the road.
Playing?
Percussion and
yeah.
Well, Sally, I found that one song on. Sorry to interrupt, but I found that one song just tonight. There Is Time that you sang, and it's so haunting. And there's a big music piece right before you even sing. Like you sing at the very end for the last minute, but it's so beautiful. I never heard of it before. So if anybody who's watching now, it's called There Is Time with Burt Bacharach and with Sally Stevens.
Well, thank you for that. That was one of those bucket list projects because Burt asked me to write the lyric for that, which I did. And
it says it on the credits.
I didn't know you were a lyricist.
Yeah, well, and just a few lucky times I've had some fun projects, but and we recorded that with the Houston Symphony. That was lovely. Yeah,
it was amazing. Horizons 13 says, as a 13-year-old, tomorrow's child made me think ahead about the possibility of my own future children. Now I have 4.
Oh, how dear. How sweet.
I'm sure they keep you busy, right?
Yeah.
Sally, do you still work with John Williams, or are you doing any projects right now besides your book?
Well, I just I sang on a film score a couple of weeks ago. The film was for another contractor. I just was in the choir, but was for Under the Boardwalk. It's an animated feature length, Warner Brothers. But the last thing that I did for John was the one of the Star. Well, geez, the Star Wars before the last one. The second to the last one. And he this is John. One day the phone rang and I said hello, and this lovely warm male voice said, "Hi baby, how many low B flats do you think we could find?" and it was like he was talking to his 5-year-old granddaughter. It wasn't,
low B flats.
So
you got one? You got a low B flat?
21. I found 21 low B flat guys. The sounds were just sort of ominous sounds. They weren't really singing. They were tonal at times, but they were just, So that was the last project I worked on with John. Was
That's great.
3 years ago, I think.
And when do you think your book will come out?
I don't have it. They haven't given me a hard date yet, but I suspect it will be the end of August, early September
of this year.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's in the process of publication, but we're still just working out everything is ready except a couple of questions about the layout inside.
Okay. Well, yeah, let me know. I want to have you back on the show. We gotta. I love reading, so I want to read all about your career. I know I'm going to be missing tons of things to mention tonight, but I did find some footage, and I wanted you to tell me a little bit more about it after I play it. So let's just watch a little bit of Sally doing her thing. Here we go.
Relax. Hello, I'm Sally Stevens, part of the KBIG family, hoping you'll be a part of our family too. Have you listened lately? With its great variety of today's beautiful music, KBIG has never sounded better.
That's great, Sally. That's great.
That was so funny. I think that's the only time in my life I've ever been recognized by anybody in this tin town, out in a grocery store or a department store or something. But with a composer named Lex Diacevedo had been doing the jingles for KBIG, and somebody on the KBIG staff decided that they should have a spokesperson. So I got to be that spokesperson for 2 or 3 years, and we did a few of those, but they're almost embarrassing these days.
Oh, I love it. It was the only footage I could really find of you with a microphone. I was like, oh, that's so cool. From back in the day.
Yeah, it sure was back in the day.
Do you remember when you're going in for Tomorrow's Child, because you were recording with the children too, or did they do them separately?
I think it was all one session, wasn't it, George?
No, I think they added the kids after you.
Afterwards, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't record at the same time, but
yeah.
How would
I
they
don't
select?
remember seeing a choir there.
Yeah.
How would they
I wasn't there
select?
for the whole thing. Huh?
How would they select like a children's choir? Like, do they select them individually, or do they have like a choir already set ready to go?
George,
we have a mutual friend that had the children's choir, Carol.
Carol Lombard.
Yeah. I used Carol. I used her on my concert, and I used her on a bunch of dates at Disney.
Yeah. Carol was wonderful. She even worked with the Jackson 5 when they were still kids, little
Jackson
kids.
5,
Yeah.
Wow.
And she sang with the
Skylarks.
Skylarks, yeah. Yeah, in earlier days. But with the kids choir, there are a couple of kids choirs. There's the Los Angeles Children's Choir, I think, but there are contractors who kind of specialize in kids and do little workshops with voice training and stuff. And
go
go
ahead.
Go ahead. That's it.
I had to put a kids choir together for a project I was in, and the woman that was basically in charge of the project lived in Beverly Hills, and she said, "Oh, my sons, my kids are in this choir." So there were 2 young schools, because these were all 8 and 9-year-old kids, right? And so I went over and rehearsed them in this, 50 of them or something like that.
Wow.
And so when I ended, the teacher said to them, "Now say thank you, Mr. Wilkins. You know, so all the kids were coming off the run. Thank you, Mr. Wilkins. Thank you, Mr. Wilkins. You know, and one kid came by me and said, "Nice job."
Oh.
And I said, "That's going to be Jerry Weintraub's kid or something." You know.
God. Oh my gosh.
Spielberg kid.
That reminds me. There was a children's choir in Amistad at 52 voices, and it was augmented with some ladies, sopranos, because it was Divisi and it was in African language, and it was going to be. And we rehearsed the day before, which is very unusual for film calls, but they scheduled rehearsal for the kids, and that was fun, and the kids were great, and I pulled those together from kids I'd worked with, and a lot of the children singers come from parents who were singers, and you just happen to know about them, you know, from your community, so they came together.
And they're probably not kids anymore, so they recorded it when they were like 10 or 12. I'm wondering, where are they now, folks?
I
Where
had to
are
go
they
to
now?
Hong Kong and do Small World and I used a children's choir from Japan, children's choir from China, and then children's choir from Communist China.
Wow.
From Beijing, I think. And,
what an experience.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Very unique.
Because how you pronounce words there, the same word can mean 2 or 3 different things depending on the accent.
Yeah. It's a tricky language.
Yeah.
Tricky languages.
Well, a lot of people have been asking in the chat. They've been, which is so, I'm very grateful, have been donating. So currently we're almost at the halfway mark. We have 9 days left till July 10th to hit this mark to have the album make it. We would love to do something again with that. And I wanted to also mention that, so the reason I wanted to have both of you on the show is because the most popular track on my album, there are two brothers, were Ali and I. Ali Olmo, she says hi, by the way, Sally.
Oh, tell her hi back. I listened to that track I listened to several of the tracks this afternoon before we were tuning in, because I hadn't really had a chance to focus, and they're wonderful. Tammy, you are so flexible with your sounds and styles and everything. It's all the tracks are just great.
Thank you.
You should see her video on Roger Rabbit, that song from Roger.
Yeah. Why don't you do right? The jazz version.
Great.
I have like almost 8 million views on that, and people think I'm Amy Irving. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh my God.
It's an honor. But the track that really has the most popularity is the Tomorrow's Child New Horizons medley I put together. And I can't tell you how many times I was listening to both of those songs over and over again. I'm like, how is this going to work? How do you combine the two songs? But I was like, it was wonderful to listen to both of them again, because again, it takes you back to that moment when you were a kid and you hear them. But it was wonderful to hear the texture of your voice, Sally, because I was really just listening to your nuances. Obviously, I don't want to copy what you do, but I want to make it my own. But I love paying attention to like the reason that you probably hit a note a certain way. Now, did you have a lot of practice time for this, or did you just run in and you did it? You're like, boom.
It's called Here's the Music.
Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we still do.
Turn the machine on.
I think sometimes with commercials, the producers are a little more tolerant of teaching somebody a song on the session, but most of what we do, we have to be able to just walk in and do it.
And read it.
Yeah.
I'd be haunted.
And interpret it, or try to as much as we can.
So do you think it was like a quick session for you? Like Ali almost said that she thinks that hers was pretty, probably 3 takes and probably done because they kind of wanted to go. Do you think yours was probably longer, or?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound too unusual. Would do the orchestra runs it a time or two, then try with the vocal, and you might do 2 or 3 like a rehearsal once, and then 2 or 3 takes, and that's most often.
Somebody says that's great.
Yeah,
but they're not editing you, right? That's a take. That's like a take from start to finish. That's not edited at all.
I don't remember. I can't swear to that, but I'm guessing. But unless there was a phrase that they liked better from one take or another. But we did a continuous. They were all continuous takes.
That does happen a lot.
Yeah.
You'll combine 2 or 3 different.
Yeah.
You nailed it, man.
Tracks.
It's so I was hoping, I think a lot of us were hoping that Disney would release a Walt Disney World 50th anniversary remastered version of so
Oh.
many songs.
Wouldn't that be fun?
And they haven't done anything. So, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you like Disney World music, donate to the campaign. The link is right in the top of the chat section. It's pinned to the top and it's in the chat if you're interested. And hopefully, I was talking to somebody. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if finally Disney did a tour of just their theme park music and toured it finally? Because I can't even imagine what it would be like to hear that in person with a full orchestra, you know?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
And so I am jealous that you got to hear it with a full orchestra. So lucky you, Sally.
Yeah, I know.
But it still sounds just as magical and as beautiful. So, you know what I mean? Just hearing it in my house. But is there anything else that you're currently working on that you'd like to mention? Because I just want to make sure I'm excited for this book. But you did the one song for this animated film. Are you doing anything else?
That was just a choral thing. I've had a couple of outreaches during this last quiet time, which was great, from composers that wanted a lyric for something they'd already created. And then one composer, Lou Forstieri, asked if I had a poem that could be set to music that was somewhat of an art, that would make an art song kind of thing. And I didn't have too many of those kind of poems, but I did have one that he liked. So he wrote a beautiful setting for it, and we're going to record that next week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday. And that kind of thing, just kind of
getting back into the swing of
little projects popping up. So much has been, as you know, quieted here in town, and there's been some remote recording. The choral stuff is, I don't know how they do it remote to get all those parts and voices together so well, but
yeah,
they're just beginning to go back on the scoring stages without having to put the plastic between each person, and
oh wow,
yeah, COVID. I think it yeah, COVID, it made it so expensive that I think ironically, I think what is probably going to stay in place is the remote recording for solos or small groups, because that's easy to do. And so many people, so many singers here in town had to get their own setup at home in order to work at all during this last couple of years.
Instrumental, even instrumental. Everybody has their own studio, and you want a sax solo, and you call someone, and you send him a track, he lays the solo on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like Byron did, on your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine with all the changes with COVID.
Yeah, and things are coming back to life a little bit, but there's still regulations and rules that everybody has agreed on that have to happen. They're being eased up a little bit or restructured a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Do you we've never seen anything like this before, but is there anything? Honestly, it's so weird because I think a lot of people agree, entertainment has kind of been gone, and now Disney World is bringing back all these entertainers, which is wonderful to see them coming back and performing in person again too. So it's nice to have that back, but entertainment is like something that we absolutely miss. So so you didn't do any projects during like the major COVID peaks time in the beginning of 2020? Like
there were two. There was one project that Amick Byram put a choir together for that we did down at it was then Staples Center. I think it's called something else now. But that was the only live thing that I recall. But I just did remember, just prior to the beginning of the pandemic, this was like April to June of 2019. There was a tribute evening up at Vibrato here in town for Lalo Schifrin, and I was asked to sing a couple songs because I had done a lot of singing in his scores. And in that project, the gentleman that put together the little band was Jean-Michel Bernard, and he's a French jazz pianist and composer. Does film scoring there, and we worked on these two little songs and really kind of got to know each other. And he said we have to record, so we ended up going into Capitol Records and recording some vocals with Al Schmidt before he passed away. Al passed away just about a year ago here, and I'd worked with him a zillion times in the studios, but never when I was the artist, so that was kind of special. And we just did 7 vocals. They were all songs from films. And then Jean-Michel took the project back to Paris and combined it with 7 instrumental or 8 instrumental tracks he'd done that were also from film music, some of his own and some of Lalo's and others composers. And he got us a release on Lakeshore Records, which never would have occurred to me. I think if I'd known it was going to be out there, I might have chosen slightly different songs. Mm-hmm. But it was a wonderful project, and it came out in December of 2019. So we've not been able to do any appearances or promotions of it or anything.
So that's the worst. Like, that's the best part is like when you finally get to promote what you've been working on so hard.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I would have loved to have gotten the chance to have been at one of the kids in that recording session with you for Tomorrow's Child. But here's my question to both of you. What recording session of any song that you've ever heard or one of your favorite songs would you have loved to have been at and maybe sang on or perform on? I know for me, it would be probably anything with the Barbra Streisand.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a really tough question. God,
I mean, I'm kind of glad I was at some of my sessions.
Yes. Yes.
So you could say, "Oh, I already crossed that off the list."
I would love to have sung backup to James Taylor, and another one of the special bucket list projects was that he recorded one of a song that I wrote in his first Christmas album. So I was there taking pictures, but I wasn't singing on it.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
James Taylor.
What's the name of the song?
Who comes this night?
Okay, well, I'm putting that to my list. I got to listen to it now.
He's a wonderful talent.
Oh, he sure is. He was my music hero from the late '60s forward.
I was at the Universal Amphitheater.
Yes.
And the last thing he did was shower the people with love.
Oh.
And as we were walking out, and still there were like 2,000-3,000 people.
Yeah.
And they were all singing. But very quietly as we went out.
Yeah.
And I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
Blew your mind, man.
Oh my God, yes.
Such a great lyric.
Tammy, you mentioned Barbra Streisand. I have a little Barbra Streisand story.
Oh yes, bring it. My mom's watching. She's gonna love this. Go ahead.
Well, Barbra wrote a song for a film back in the '80s. I was trying to remember the Evergreen. The Evergreen was the title of the song, and it was
Star
nominated.
Is Born.
Pardon me?
A Star Is Born, I think.
Yes, Star Is Born. Thank you. And the song was nominated for the Oscars, and she was to perform it on the Oscars. And I hadn't done any contracting for the Oscars yet. I wasn't the choral director yet, but I was singing on a lot of the broadcasts. And so I was hired because I was going to sing in the group as well. But in that song, Barbra sings a duet with herself, a harmony part. And so I was hired to sing the harmony part. Well, I went to the music rehearsal and we were about to run the song, and I was trying to be very inconspicuous and stay off to the side. And when Barbra found out that there was going to be somebody singing along with her, she stopped the rehearsal and had a little conversation with the director and the music. And so we did away with the harmony part with Barbra.
Oh.
So you don't mess with Barbra, I'm saying.
I used to know the husband of her agents. I've heard some great stories.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
George, we're going to talk after this. I want to hear all.
He was an engineer at Disney.
Oh.
And his wife was I can't remember the agency. It wasn't William Morris, but he was her agent. He did calls at 2 o'clock in the morning from London.
Oh.
Just impossible stuff.
Oh my God, those you should write a book.
She should.
Well, Sally, how many different Oscar telecasts were you a part of?
Oh my, I was choral director for about 22 of the years, but
Wow.
I had sung prior to that in the earlier on in the 70s and stuff for other contractors. I'd been in the off-camera choir or sometimes on camera.
I bet you and Gene Cipriano probably have about the same numbers of sessions.
Well, Gene started in the business a little before I did. I think he really got going in the 50s.
Yeah.
But he played on. He's had to have done
10,000.
Oh, I have.
20,000.
Yeah, the most recent Oscar sweatshirt that I have that you could buy, was the 92nd, and I think I had worked on the 60-somethings back in the days. So
yeah.
It's.
What was the last year you did the Oscars?
It was 2019, I think.
Oh wow! So I don't know. I don't think they had anything for this year.
Music directors and
this last great number of changes this last year, particularly. I was a bit disappointed in the music this last year.
Is that Ricky somebody?
No, Ricky. Well, yes, Ricky might have been. Ricky Minor was the music director the year before, but this one he wasn't this last year, and there was someone that I'd never heard of, or none of us had ever heard of, and they seemed to bring in their own little groups, for. It was, a different way of doing it. And I think that.
You have the orchestra over at Capitol.
Right. Oh yeah. And many times
the orchestra.
Bill Conti, when he had the orchestra, we were often in the orchestra pit with the guys from the Shrine or from the and that was fun because the way Bill did it, I don't know if they still do it now because we haven't. Even Bill kind of tapered off with this, but he would write 5 little vocal chart intro things for every category nominated sub theme from the film, and we would be at the mics and we wouldn't know which one we were going to sing. They were all 5 on the page until they announced the winner, and then you'd sing that. Yeah.
Here we go.
Do you have another Oscar story? Maybe a prominent thing that in your mind, maybe not as crazy as what happened this past year, but something else that sticks out in your mind?
I just thought of something. Things fly in and out of my mind these days. I can still see the night that Madonna sang a song from Dick Tracy, I think, and she was very obviously nervous during some of the run-throughs and the rehearsals, but she killed it for the program. And Michael Jackson was her date for the evening, and he was sitting in the front row, so we could see him and her from the orchestra pit. Bill, it was a Bill year, and he had this white suit on with metal all over it. It was like a military kind of thing. Then I remember the year that the song that won Best Song was "It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp," and And
what movie?
And it was from
8 Mile.
Pardon me?
Was it from 8 Mile? I'm trying
to. No, it was. This was probably 12, 13 years ago. It was a very intense film. I wish I could remember but what got to me was that because that song was nominated, the people that wrote the lyric, and I think there were 3 or 4 of them, were automatically members of the Academy. And there are those of us who have sung on 50 or 500 film scores that have not been able to get in.
Hustle and Flow is the movie.
Hustle and Flow, yeah, that was it.
Hustle and Flow. And that was from 2005. Wow. 2005. I've never heard of that song, and I actually would love to hear it.
Well, yeah.
That's
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, no, I have it here on my phone. I'll listen to it till later. Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's why I was looking it up, because I was like, I gotta know what this is.
Yeah,
somebody already knew it. Somebody in the audience said Hustle and Flow.
Hustle and Flow. There you go.
Horizons 13 has a question for you guys for Mr. Wilkins. What did you use as an inspiration for Nova City? It is so quintessential Epcot, the sound of Nova City.
What did I use? Well, once you leave once you leave the theater part, the film, I had a theme that I did upside down, backwards, forward, and it was the same theme, and just arranged differently here and there. So I'm not sure what my inspiration was, except that I had written that theme, and then for all the different scenes going in it, they were counter melodies to that theme, just like I did for Carousel of Progress.
Mm-hmm.
Or not Carousel. When I did Carousel of Progress for Horizons, I wrote that French theme. That's a counter melody to "It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow."
That was really great. Yeah, you talked about it on the RetroMagic panel.
The problem, Sally, in rides is that you go from one room to the next room, and you don't want a train wreck as you hit, keys and tempos and all that. So a lot of times I would just write a counter melody to my main theme, and then that would become the theme for that next room, and then the counter melody again for the next room, and etc. It got kind of interesting.
Evan has a question. He says, I also have a question. George's work on the 1990s Raymond Scott Tomorrowland.
Oh my God.
Do you have any interesting stories about working on that piece?
Well, we were asked to do an hour's worth of Raymond Scott style music. And I brought in Alan Ferguson and Jimmy Bryant, and the three of us sat down, and we didn't steal a note from Raymond Scott, but we did use his style, and part of his style was just his instrumentation. And somebody from that Raymond went to Disneyland and put a tape recorder up to the speaker and recorded all of it. Wow. And then sued Disney for copyright.
Oh my God.
And I, not copyright, but evidently plagiarism, but plagiarism of style, which I had never heard of.
Yeah.
And I pleaded with Disney to get a musicologist in and be, a professional, and they didn't do it, and they paid that off. Funny bit is that Jerry Williams, John's father, used to play that. So he was the drummer on that show. Wow. So Jerry brought in all those toys and instruments that he used to play on that thing. It was a radio show out of New York. But anyway, that's the story. We redid it. They actually hired me to redo it, which killed me.
Wow.
How many guys get canned off of jobs and get the same job back?
Oh, by the way, somebody said that they've donated. Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate it. We have the Indiegogo campaign. Thank you guys for all donating and helping out. And the contest, the giveaway contest, is now closed. So I have to go pick a winner. But I have the song "Tomorrow's Child, New Horizons" that I did for my first album, and I found some footage from Epcot, and I thought it would be cool to kind of combine the two and kind of see what Epcot was back in 1982 and have you guys enjoy a little bit of 3 minutes of music, but also see your reactions and talk a little bit about it afterwards while I go pick the winner. So, so here we go with New Horizons, Tomorrow's Child, a medley created for You'll Find Me on Main Street. I hope you guys enjoy.
Tomorrow's child, gathering gifts from our past. Tomorrow's child, shaping a world that will last. Holding the spark journey together. We're learning to reach for hope and desire, building a world to inspire. Have you ever dreamed the dreams of the children? Just imagine the magic their minds can see. Horizons all shining and new. Horizons where dreams do come true. Tomorrow's child, charting a brand new way. For the future world is born Have you ever looked beyond today into the future? Picturing a world we've yet to see. The wonder of finding new ways that lead to the promise of brighter days. Tomorrow's child, charting a brand new way. And it will be a future built with care for you and me. A world we all can share. For today holds the challenge to make this world a better place to be. For the future world is born today. If we can dream it, tomorrow's child, then we can do it, tomorrow's
Wow. Whew.
That was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, that was wonderful. You could put the visuals together great too.
Did you
That's
guys
great.
recognize anybody in the video at all?
Not, I didn't, but maybe
I didn't. I was busy trying to find.
No, it's okay, because sometimes people recognize people in different clips and everything, and it's just so interesting. You know, it was 40 years ago.
I
as we're-
noticed you used footage from Horizons in Tomorrow's Child at the very beginning. I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, just a mixture of them all.
Yeah.
And what an amazing park Epcot was. And like, I was talking with somebody last night, and I was on their podcast, and we were just talking about how Epcot is such a driven music park, at least in the beginning. You know what I mean? Every pavilion had its own theme.
Yeah.
Which is the best, because now it has its own, classic theme, and it's it's
Sally,
really amazing.
Did you ever work with the Sherman Brothers?
On films, one of the couple of the Disney films, maybe, but back in the day when I was just singing with Alan Davies or
Alan, God.
yeah.
I was a New York jingle singer.
Pardon me?
I came from New York. I moved out in '64. I did an album with Mancini, and then kind of stayed. But I had been a jingle singer in New York and writer, so I formed a group called the Doodletown Pipers.
Oh, of course.
And that kind of got me going in television, and then I eventually ended up at Disney.
Ah.
Yeah.
But Jerry says he loved you singing softly and harmonizing.
Yeah, I
loved it too.
I was singing. There's a girl up here that can do that. She can listen to something for the first time and be singing harmony to it.
Oh, well, I apologize. I
loved it.
That was great. Yeah.
It's something I do all the time unconscious. I'm not even conscious of it, but I can't stop myself.
I love hearing Sally hum.
See? Everybody was loving
So
it.
cool.
I didn't think you could still hear me with all that music going on.
No, it was perfect. I was like, ooh. What else do I have? Well, I wanted to thank you both for being on the show tonight because it was so great to finally have you together, because we tried last summer and we weren't successful, but I'm just glad. No, it's all good. Oh, she disappeared. She'll be back. She probably hit a button. It's okay. We'll stall. But I really appreciated having both of you on the show tonight, because the music of EPCOT is just so a part of my life, and it's great to hear from other people who just love my album because of especially the EPCOT songs. They're like, I love that. We want more of that. So my list for the next album, hopefully if we can do it, does include EPCOT songs. So, you can't go wrong with not incorporating EPCOT, but it's such a strong, everybody has such a strong reaction to it. So, there she
I don't know what happened. It just all of a sudden went away.
It disappeared. It was like timing. I was like, oh. But I was just saying, I really wanted to thank both of you for being a part of tonight's, celebration, because, it was such an honor to cover both of those songs and hear both of them growing up.
I'm very honored to have been on.
I'm very, very happy to have been here with you both. It was just so much fun, and it was an honor. And I wanted to ask you, Tammy, I know people that who would still enjoy seeing this. Is it going to be available in streaming or any way, or can people find it?
Yes. So the link that that I emailed to you, just the YouTube link, they'll be able to access it at any point in time. Once we end the broadcast, they can go ahead and they can watch it.
Great.
So
Okay.
it'll be up forever. And and I'll have it online on the podcasting system. People like to listen to it on the way going and coming. So
Great.
But before we end, I did pick a winner. So Sally, would you like to do the honors of giving the name? I put it in the little private chat. If you click, there's a private chat button.
My goodness. Okay.
And then we could do a drum roll. Just let us know when you see it.
Private chat. Oh my goodness. I hope I can say that name properly.
Okay, are we ready? We're going to do a drum roll for everybody. And here we go. Drum roll. And the winner is?
And the winner is Kevin Caparota. Kevin Caparota.
Yay! Congratulations, Kevin! Congratulations. I will email you tomorrow morning when I'm rested, because I'm exhausted.
I bet
and
you
I
are.
need to eat.
You have amazing energy and amazing skill for putting all this together, Tammy.
Oh, this was so much fun. I'm just glad you guys were a part of it. Oh, Kevin's in the chat. Look at him. He's saying, yay, thanks so much. And you had Sally say your name. What a joy. I think that's pretty cool. And congrats, Kevin. And Jerry says, thank you, George and Sally. And Kevin added, it's great to hear from you both. Thank you for your substantial contributions to the music of Disney. I second that. And I think it's the best way to end the show. So thank you both so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all you do.
Very enjoyable.
Thank you. Thank you both. Great to see you, George.
And we'll talk soon for your book. That's like the next thing. I'm excited. George and I are going to read it page to page.
We'll get together and do an audio version.
We'll write some music to it.
Yeah.
This is the dream. Let's do it. Well, good night, everybody. And we'll play the outro. Here we go.